Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of FPL BlackBox with myself, and the vlogger himself, extraordinaire, Mr. Mark Summons.
Yeah. Did you see that? That was me wandering the streets muttering about FPL. That's a vision of the future when Pip throws me out, basically, and I'm homeless.
Good reception. People seem to really enjoy it.
Yeah. It was good. I got myself a fancy camera, and I thought I'm going to have a go at this because originally I got the camera we're using now as a vlogging camera. I was going to do it, but then once we got it installed as a webcam, I can't be bothered to move it. But this cam's just come out, and it was amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. I thought, well, let's do 10 minutes and see before I go to work, and it's gone down well. Yeah, so won't need this soon. It'll just be me muttering in the streets.
That's what you always wanted. Let's be honest.
I know.
Look at that. Vlog was awesome, Mark. You should present wildlife shows. David Attenborough.
David, well, maybe there'll be a gap there when he goes, but no one wants to see him go, do they? So yeah, absolutely. But my God, it was fun to do. But it was I hopefully I'll have content every week, and also it's kind of like the weather's dependent as well. This week has been turbulent. I think there's going to be a storm tonight as well. So it's weather permitting and topics permitting, but hopefully I'll have plenty to talk about every week. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, we've got plenty to talk about this week because it was quite a dramatic week, wasn't it? Quite a few things happened. Haaland obviously came through for people. The really popular options like Saka and Watkins didn't really kind of deliver with the Gabriel benching as well. Udogie didn't make the pitch. Some of us had one defender out of 5.
Wow.
Some of us on the stream. One of us on the stream.
How did you manage that, Mr. Botman? Yeah, it was weird, wasn't it? It was like rolling. We've called this episode Old Haunts, and it was that because we had Gabriel benched, João Pedro not turning up after investment because a lot of people got on him with the wildcard, and then people like Mbeumo coming back to form of another double-figure return against the odds, at Chelsea. A lot of people who owned him even benched him and didn't get the benefit of those points. So it was a rollback to the early stages of the season.
Yeah. I mean, we were debating, weren't we, Mbeumo or Gabriel on the thumb, because that really was that was a frightening haunt, wasn't it? For all the people like you that started with Gabriel, you bring him back in for this week and he misses out again. I mean, you can't write it. You cannot write that as a script. Like, that is FPL in an absolute nutshell for a lot of people.
I think like the explanation I'm going with is what Neil said on the article and I said in the vlog. And also, he plays tonight. So I think he looked at it, Arteta, and went, well, I want to rest Saliba in the week. So let's rest Gabriel this time. And then I'll rest Saliba in the week and play Gabriel in the week. So I imagine that was behind it, that he didn't want to go into the Carabao Cup without having rested both his centre-backs, but didn't want them both to miss the Carabao Cup. So it kind of makes sense. That might be pure speculation, and Gabriel gets dropped again against Newcastle, of course. But I'll go with that. I think if you own Gabriel, you're kind of clutching at any straw that you'll take at this moment in time, because we don't want to even consider the idea that he's back on the bench again. I thought I was over that because when Partey got injured, I thought, that's it, he's safe now. No Partey, he's going to play every week, and then boom.
Kiwior, and he's playing again tonight. Kiwior as well.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Alongside.
So he's played back to back. And Saliba and Gabriel have had the rests.
Yeah.
So I think that's with Newcastle in mind. I think he looked at it and went, okay, I don't want to be without both my centre-backs in midweek. So I'll rest one now, one in midweek, and then they'll both have a rest ahead of Newcastle. I'm sure that's it.
But I was we'll talk about teams in a bit, but I was kind of really stressed, late at night because SuperChats was going up and I couldn't decide who to sell. Should I get rid of Gabriel? Should I get Udogie out? I still got Botman. In the end, I've made my move. But I'm also going with the narrative that Gabriel played the 2 games in Brazil and he'll probably be fine. We'll talk about that. And Tayyip, some of us got the legend Taylor off the bench. I mean, wildcarders who, went with that. I mean, you got SuperChats off the bench.
I did.
For 6. Yeah. Other people had Taylor. I mean, that's the kind of jam you need, isn't it?
It's not jam, is it? It's like
kind of jam you've got accustomed to this season.
If you play your wild card, you expect to have a good first sub, don't you? Right, because you're going to build for that, right? And so I think that was the only extra points I got over my old team, because I did the whole exercise of, let's go back and have a look what I would have got. If it's painful sometimes doing that, but I did it knowing that I just about came out on top by 4 points, and it was having SuperChats first sub. Otherwise, I would have had Gusto, who was surprisingly benched. Gusto, wasn't he? I didn't expect that.
So came back in.
Yeah. So in the end, the wild card was out, but we're going to look at our game weeks in a minute, I guess. Yeah.
We don't have a sponsor this episode, but I do want to give a shout out to someone who sent me a gift. #gift. I don't know if that's a thing. Might have seen me on the FPL show. I got sent this watch by someone.
Oh, what's going on? you got sent a watch by someone?
I got sent a watch by someone. They own
like some kind of admirer sending you gifts in a post?
A watch company. They're called Avail Watches.
Yeah.
And I've been wearing it for the last few weeks because, someone says I'm going to send you a watch. And I was like, oh, okay, that's nice. It's all right. I genuinely love it. Absolutely love it. I wear it all the time. I went to work today.
Hold on. So I'm wandering in the rain and cold doing videos in the morning before work, and you're the one getting the gifts. What's going on?
I'm getting sent watches.
Unbelievable.
So they sent it to me with absolutely no obligation to say anything. But
we'll still
class it as an ad. But I genuinely really like it, and they're kind of affordable, yet designer-looking watches.
Well, I hope they're watching tonight, and I'll put my details in the description.
You weren't expecting that, were you?
No, I'm not. No, I wasn't. Not at all. No. Fair enough. No, very good. Very good.
Speaking of other people being very generous to us, our new members. So we've had 3 new members to the Godfather tier of the YouTube subscription, which is Doy, Caleb Seekins, and FPL Henning. Welcome, Mark, as you watch. Welcome to the crazy crew. We've got a WhatsApp chat. We've got a BlackBox league. We've got a BlackBox predictions league as well. So anyone that wants to get involved, do sign up. Send me an email as fplblackbox.com. We'll get you added to all of those. Don't feel any obligation to do so. It's just a way of supporting the stream, and we've got a few little perks for you as well. So yeah, thanks to our 3 new members.
Do you want to get Nigel's comment in there, because we're blocked? There we go. Look. So he's given us like what? He's throwing us more money our way. He's technically our sponsor. He says that's probably true, to be honest.
He hasn't given us more money, has he?
I don't know. He says he's just seen his bank statement, all the payments he's made to us. I imagine.
Yeah,
in his bank statement.
please stop giving us money.
Yeah, please. You don't need to when people are sending him watches.
I'm getting compliments about the watch. There you go. It's a nice watch. It is genuinely really nice watch.
Yeah.
Mark, look who that is.
What?
It's the copycats.
Oh yeah, what do you mean the copycats? What do you mean?
Look at the logo.
Yeah, I know the logo. Yeah, but
the YouTube channel that steals our stuff.
Is it? Is that the YouTube? Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know there was one. Is there one that steals our stuff? No?
Oh, you haven't been paying attention to the Godfather's tier chat. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Oh, well, they've turned up to the stream.
Yeah, to steal our content.
There you
go. Live.
We don't mind. It's all
love
good.
it. Yeah,
it's all fine.
Right, let's take a look at our game weeks. I had a ridiculous game week. I can't just have a normal game week. Every game week adds a whole new level of stress. Worked out all right in the end. I had Ariola in goal, who lost to Everton, which was a surprise. And then look at this. I had one defender. All my 4 defenders got 0. Kabore actually played 90 and still got 0 because he got booked. Cash went off with the clean sheet just before they conceded. And then I had a Dogie miss out, Botman miss out, and Gabriel.
Why have you still got Botman? What's going on? He's out now for a long time.
Because someone told me a few weeks ago, Mark, to sell Colwell over Botman. I don't know if you remember that. I did a stream a few weeks ago, and I said, right, my move's made up. I'm going to do Botman to Tsimikas. And you talked me out of selling Botman, and I talked myself into buying Gabriel. And it's been it's about 13 points, something like that. And I've got to make the transfer.
The Adogi absence was unlucky. I didn't expect that.
I thought he'd play. I really did think he'd play.
Because he was training, wasn't he?
Yeah, yeah. I thought he'd be all right. And I thought we'd get team news as well. And as the minutes ticked on, I was getting ready for a Halloween party. And I couldn't, a
different type of horror show.
I couldn't be glued to my phone. So in the end, I risked it. And he didn't start.
Who did you go as? Who did you go?
I was a zombie Mario.
Of course. Right, okay, we've all been there.
that classic Halloween get up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that was frightening for Halloween. And then, the rest of it went all right. I mean, I debated for ages who to get in out of Saka and Watkins. And in the end, it made no difference because I would have had to have sold Madison. And Madison got 6 and Saka got 6. In the end, I went Alvarez to Watkins and they both got 2. So all week of stressing which one to get made absolutely no difference whatsoever, which is typical. Diaby came in, Son came in, Haaland obviously hit his a big haul, and then Salah captaincy, and Adingra, who missed a great chance really early on in the game against Fulham. That would have been lovely. But yeah, that was it. It was, in the end, I went down to 3.1 million for a bit after the defensive horror show, but then Haaland and Diaby salvaged it. So in the end, got a small green up to 2.3 million.
What did you make of Adingra then? Did you watch the game in full? Did you?
No, I've seen the highlights. Seen the highlights. Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't that impressed with. Well, I mean, you were right. You made the case that Fulham were your bogey team, and to be honest, it turned out to be the case again, didn't it? I don't think Brighton were that impressive. I was really surprised because there were people tipping Brighton for a big win, and everyone was jumping on Mitoma. It just didn't arrive, did it? I was
not expecting a big win. I thought we'd sneak it, but these bogey team things, honestly, it's a thing because we always struggle against Fulham.
That is not optimal, I'm afraid.
It's not.
I'm afraid
but
that is not.
It happens too often. I think the thing was, we'd come off that big win at Ajax, and he made a lot of changes, and he's already. Zerbi hasn't got faith in Ferguson at the moment. I know he scored, but he came out at the end and said he's not in a good moment. Mitoma ended up playing wing back in that match. We had Pedro coming off the bench. It was all a bit chaotic. I think in terms of, it's going to be I think it's going to be a much easier game against Everton. He says with confidence.
Wow.
More predictable.
Well, I don't know. I think Everton is going to be a difficult game at Goodison Park. I think that they impressed me.
Everton don't have difficult games at Goodison Park. They're awful.
No, they've been poor at Goodison Park this season. Last season they were very strong there, but they're better away this season. But I thought they were impressive at West Ham. And yeah, I mean, it'll be like them to just turn up and be awful again, wouldn't it, at home to Brighton? But I don't know. Calvert-Lewin looked sharp. Branthwaite very impressive at the back. I'd like to think Everton will give you a game, but we'll see. Nigel's just given us $9.99, but he's pointed out that the Kazakhstan copycats are offering free flights to Kazakhstan for memberships. So, and all we're offering is welcome videos that turn up months late, and the offer to clean the Billy to clean their car. But it's not good, is it?
We've got so many welcome invites to do introductions.
We have.
Right. Thank you, Nigel. Please stop giving us money. Like, genuinely, I mean, I love it, but also, it's you are literally funding our lifestyle and
our habit.
Yeah.
Don't
even get me started.
The Saka assist. What's wrong with the Saka assist? Do you want me to explain? Why don't you think it was an assist?
He crosses it in, but because they say the designated target was Nketiah, the palming of the thing doesn't matter.
No, they're not saying Nketiah is necessarily the target. At a corner or a set piece, the threshold for whether it's going to a designated target or a designated area leans towards area. We tend not to go, it's aiming for this player.
Where's that in the rules?
I know what's in the rules.
Where is that in the transparent
They can't
rules?
Explain that on the website because it's far too complicated.
Oh, my God.
But effectively, at a set piece, well, put it this way, at a corner, there are 15 players in the penalty area? You can't possibly know which of the 6 or 7 attackers the target the cross is for. So what you do at set plays, at corners and free kicks, you go, well, let's just go with an area. So what area of the goal mouth is the corner aimed for? Now, when a touch from a keeper or a defender takes it away, say the ball was travelling towards the 6-yard box on the far post. If the keeper touches it and it goes to the penalty spot, no assist will be given because the ball has been diverted to a different area of the goal mouth. But in the case of this one, the keeper went to palm it and it remained in that far post 6-yard box area before Nketiah scored. Therefore, it's an assist because the touch wasn't enough to deviate it from the designated area that we assigned when the cross came in. I say we, it's not me anymore. But that's why it was given.
I have two things to say about that.
Go on, go for it.
Firstly, bloody hell, you need a bloody Bible to work that out from the.
I don't make the rules.
They're trying to make this game more accessible to players, and they have rules in like that. Secondly, I don't mind that. I think that's fine. I want more assists in the game, but don't take away assists from players when they're saying, "Oh no, it wasn't supposed to reach Richarlison and it reached Kane instead, so it can't possibly be an assist."
There are instances where it's bloody obvious who the intended target is.
There's times when there isn't.
But a corner isn't one. No, give me one where it has. Oh, we can spend the whole show arguing about this. You're going to go on about that one you didn't get last season at Brentford, aren't you? Is that the one you're going on about? I don't think I
had that. I can just remember numerous cases where a player's played a ball, it's taken a deflection or a touch off someone.
Yeah.
It's gone to a different player in the area, and they said, "Oh,
so no assist."
Yeah, but how can you possibly know who that player was?
Because when there's one striker running into the box and the guy crosses it for that one striker and it gets diverted to a player running in, it's clearly been aimed at the one striker running in. Sometimes it's so clear who the target is that you can do that. But in the case of a corner or a set piece, you can't be clear who the target is, but you can be clear what the target area is. And then it comes down to the significance of the touch from the defender. Or the
I just don't know why they feel the need to differentiate. Why not just have it as the area for any...
Because what do you do at corners? What do you do at corners? It's pure guesswork at corners.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's right. It's all right for corners. So make it that rule for open play crosses.
I know what you mean, but then... Yeah, like I said, the rule is it's more lenient and it goes towards area of the goal at set plays, whereas in open play, you look for a designated player. And if there's a clear designated player and it doesn't go to that player and another player scores, it's no assist. I think it's pretty straightforward. I don't know what the fuss is about. But then when you go to my team, I've got Saka. So maybe that's
I think
why.
It's a load of bloody nonsense. That's what I think. Here's your team. The Wildcard.
If you agree with me, send your watches and jewellery to...
This is your team. Wildcard played. You got lots of kudos, didn't you? Everyone was saying, "Oh, what a lovely team Mark's got."
No, they weren't.
Yeah, they weren't. Everyone was. Everyone was like, "Oh, he's got Trippier and everyone. No sacrifices."
Oh dear. I stay off Twitter. I don't know what was being said, but that's very nice of them if they were saying that. Match days, I go nowhere near it. Areola 3, Simicast 6 off the bench, jammy apparently. Cash 5, Trippier 0. Questions to be asked. Saka 6 with that very clear and obvious assist. Palmer 2, Diaby 13, Salah captain 16, Son 10. Haaland came in with 16 and Watkins with a 2. Gabriel subbed off the bench, but I had Taylor there as well. So even if I didn't get Simicast, I had Taylor. How can you say it's luck when I've got that kind of squad management on show? Yeah, all good. I'm very happy. 79. You see, my total points is 666. Are you going to say that I've sold my soul to the devil?
Yeah. The day after Halloween, and you're totally sick? That's outrageous.
I know. It's a sign. It's a sign. That's why I'm doing so well this year. I had to make sacrifices. So when Billy's 12, I've got to let him go, basically, give him off to the devil. But it's worth it for a good rank.
You're miles ahead of me. 70 points ahead. Oh, God. That's
best not look at that.
Yeah. Was there any temptation? I mean, because I did toy with... I had Watkins, Salah and Haaland. I was flip-flopping between all three. If we'd known it was going to be Evans and Maguire at centre-back and Lindelof at left-back.
Throwback. I mean... We were talking about throwbacks at the start of the season. Talk about Maguire and Evans. My God, I didn't expect to see them lining up.
And Varane left out for tactical reasons. Having a laugh, isn't he?
Well, they were really poor, weren't they?
Having a laugh.
I mean, I tell you what. I mean, not having Haaland. I think I said on the vlog. Did I tell you I did a vlog, by the way? I was like, anyway. I was saying that non-Haalanders did okay because they had Darwin and they had Raya and players that we can't get to, right? So the gap wasn't big, if at all. But one thing I will say, if you didn't have Haaland, watching that game must have been absolutely awful. Because I've watched games without Salah and that's not very nice. But without Haaland, I think it's even worse because he's kind of like right in the spearhead, isn't he, of that City attack. And second half, I was like, he could get 3 or 4 more goals here. It was ridiculous. United just let them play around them. It was.
He's had a falling out with Varane. There is absolutely no way you leave Varane out of that game. Where was Casemiro as well? Is he injured?
Oh, he's injured. Yeah,
he's injured. Okay, well he had a falling out with Varane. He must have done because there's no way you play Maguire and Evans against Haaland and City. It's suicide unless he wants to be sacked.
Well, I mean, something's wrong in the dressing room. I think. I mean, I don't know. We're all speculating on it, but we saw early on in the season that there was a sense that everything wasn't right because of the Sancho situation. Anthony, I mean, when Anthony came on, how aggy was he when he came on? He was like begging to be sent off, wasn't he? Unbelievable.
I just don't understand that player at all. I can't believe they paid 80 million for him. I've seen nothing from him in 2 years, in a year and a half.
But his attitude stinks because when Ten Hag brought on the earlier subs, the camera switched to him on the bench and he was like shaking his head as if to say, why haven't you brought me on? And then when he comes on, first thing he does is just trying. Who was it he kicked? Was it Foden? I can't remember who he picked.
No, it was.
on. No, it was
Doku.
Doku.
Doku, yeah.
Yeah, and he was lucky to stay on the pitch.
Well, he's a joke, and it makes the Sancho thing, it really kind of showcases the Sancho thing because it's like Anthony and Rashford just have a free pass. They can put in bad performance after bad performance and still get picked. And Sancho obviously hasn't been great, but there's a player in there because he was one of the best players in the world, arguably when he was at Dortmund with the biggest potential. Yeah. So there's mismanagement there. There's got to be there's so many things going on behind the scenes in that club.
But yeah, my point was not owning Haaland's horrible, isn't it? I imagine because when City are playing well, I mean, to be fair, we saw last week, didn't we? We looked at the XG for City, and it's the lowest. The last 3 games were the lowest under Pep. They put that right at Old Trafford because I think it was like something like 4, wasn't it? The XG in that game, and Haaland himself put in a good.
I nearly sold him.
Numbers. Did you look at it?
I was so worried about Saka. So I was going to do Ward-Prowse to Saka and Haaland to Watkins, and it would have been an absolute disaster. So, although I didn't have a great week, I still could have had a much worse one if I'd done that. Yeah.
And I think that for me, the thing I was relieved about was I kept Diaby because I was very tempted to, with the wildcard, make 7, 8, 9 changes. In order to do that, I would have to have got rid of Diaby. As one of those players I expect, and Trippier would be another player that perhaps I would have got rid of. And Trippier got 0 points and he's got Arsenal this week, so there might be merits in that. We'll talk a bit about that later. But if I'd have got rid of Diaby, it would have been a disaster. Because I was almost thinking, I know what'll happen. If I get rid of Diaby, he'll go and get the double figure return and I'll be, the wild card will be a fail, right? So I just went, I can't put myself through that. And so I had made limited changes, but it was the right call, luckily. Because he got the goal he scored was from the area we talked about last week, wasn't it? Right on the penalty spot, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, it was kind of a game where I didn't really think he would do that well in with the wide players because I guess it's different when Luton are playing at home because the pitch is so narrow and players like Diaby have to come in really narrow. So this is it. I just think Luton are going to really struggle away from home because when they can be expansive. And the wingers can come in and drop in and do all the trickery and things that they like. They're gonna have so many problems. So
is that pitch super tight at Kenilworth Road? Then have they bought?
It's the smallest. I think it's the smallest dimension in the league. Yeah. Which is why I think Spurs struggled as well because I was listening to Planet FPL, which is I've been doing quite a bit of driving lately, and I have that on with the correspondents talking about the matches.
Oh, it's great! Yeah,
it's so good. And James was talking about Spurs and why because they obviously battered Luton right at the start of that game, but then kind of struggled. And it's because if you look at Kulusevski and you look at Richarlison as well on the left, there's no pace really between them. So when they're trying to beat a man in a kind of narrow pitch, they struggle. So James is worried about that as a tactic when he plays against teams who kind of play, make the pitch quite narrow and keep things because then that's when Johnson might have to come in and use his pace.
He did well, I thought. I mean, I watching the Palace game, I thought Spurs were impressive. It was a very professional performance, but Brennan came on and immediately made an impact. And what for me was Brennan just did the simple thing. He headed the ball to Madison, made the run on the outside, got the ball back and cut the ball back perfectly for Son. There was nothing flat. If that was Richarlison, number 1, he probably wouldn't have headed it to Madison. Number 2, he probably wouldn't have made that run on the inside. Number 3, if he had made the run inside, he'd probably have had a shot rather than look for Son. And Brennan's just not a complicated, flashy player. He's quick, he's decent on the ball, he's a good fit, probably a good to great finisher, but he just does the simple things well. And I think he'll get in the team very, very soon because of that.
Yep, agreed. Let's look at the great and the good. So you're top still. Just another good week for you. You've 666. There you are.
666.
That's
there
so
it is.
Funny. I'm clinging on to not being bottom, but I'm still a bit behind. I feel like if I can catch up to Tom and Marco, then I'm kind of back in it, because there's not a lot in it between, Andy Let's Talk at 627, and then Tom Freeman's on 608, and I'm on 593. So I just need a couple of players to come in, and I can get back into it. You must be delighted though, right at the top after struggling so much last year.
Yeah, that well-known fancy phrase, "I'm clinging on to not being bottom." That's always a good thing to be saying.
And we say it a lot on this podcast.
I said it a lot last season, didn't I? To be fair, I think I was bottom. It'd be great to win the great and the good, because I think I won it first season, so I'd love to be the first one to win it twice. I don't think Fabio's done that. But there's a long way to go.
You,
but
General,
I'm super
Fabio,
happy.
and Villaronca, I think, and then Harry.
And Harry,
last
season. So the race is on to see if any of us can win it twice. And I'm very happy to be there at the moment. But the one thing I will say, and we'll get to this with my team later, I'm already a bit bored, because I don't know. I look at my team and I don't know where I'm going to make a change, so I can actually do something active with my transfers in the next few weeks. Because to get money to do anything worthwhile, I'd have to take a risk and sell Trippier. And I don't know if I want to do that. So if I don't do that, I'm stuck swapping my 4 million defender in and out.
Make
on my
it
keeper
interesting between us. Take a big hit. Get in someone.
I think I might just do what Luke does and just keep it dull and just keep doing really well. And maybe that's what Luke's been doing for a few seasons, whereas I've been kind of taking risks and doing crazy things. And do I want to blow it now I'm doing well? So I don't know. We'll have a look at my team later. We'll discuss what to do. But I look at it and think I'm going to have to get an injury of some kind, or have the guts to go, no, I'm going to sell Trippier, or no, I'm going to sell Derby and get Gordon and do something with the extra million that gives me. Because if I don't do that, I'm going to be burning transfers in a few weeks, I think.
I think there's potential to swap around maybe with Watkins, with Diaby, Trippier, Palmer. They're your kind of ones.
Can't do much with the Palmer money though, can I? 4.9. So it's going to have to be someone who frees up cash. That's what I'm saying. So I'd have to sell someone like Trippier to improve the team, but then that's not going to be easy, I don't think. So don't know. We'll talk about it. We'll look at Newcastle's fixtures, and because we want to look at Lascelles and Botman tonight, because we've talked about Botman already. But the fact he's out longer means that Lascelles is suddenly much more of an option. And I said when Botman got the injury to his knee, I thought he'd be out longer than a couple of weeks. The way they're talking now, it could be like next year before he's back. Yeah. So
I made an error. I made an error with that. I should have got rid of him early. We've both been there in the past, haven't we? Injured players who you're kind of wishing come back. You've always got priorities kind of elsewhere. You leave him in your team, and then it causes more issues. It's just how, isn't it? He's so full of shit. I don't know.
You think that's it? I don't know. I mean, he's apparently had a setback, hasn't he? So they're saying that their assessment previously is now out the window because he's had a setback, which could be fair enough. So
it was a funny injury though, wasn't it? Because we didn't see it happen. It kind of happened behind closed doors, and then he was going to play, and then he wasn't, and there was kind of a bit of weirdness around it. And then it was going to be a week, and then it was going to be after the international break, and then it was going to be another 2 weeks. They're the kind of ones where you're just like, do you know what, get me off this track. Because there's no guarantee, even if he comes back after a month out, he goes straight back into the team. Lascelles has been playing well. They've won most of their games without him. But yeah, we'll talk a bit more about that.
Slaughter PFK asking, is Magnus playing this season? No, he's not. No, and it's got nothing to do with anal beads either. But he's not playing.
For anyone who has no context for that, no, he quit, didn't he, after the after the deadline fiasco last year when the site crashed and he couldn't make his transfers.
I thought you were going to explain the context of the anal beads reference.
No point.
Oh, you're just going to leave that hanging?
Just leave that.
Okay. That doesn't work. Oh dear. Oh god. Fair enough. Doesn't everyone follow the chess dramas?
Oh,
surely they do.
The anal bead chess
Can't be
drama
just you and Trigger
was
Lips,
amazing. It was amazing. Let's look at some data. So this data is from Fantasy Football Scout, who obviously sponsor the stream. You can see their little icon in the top left. Do check out their members area for all the tools, comparisons, all the great stuff that you need to have a good season. We pull all the
excellent
data.
articles as well.
Great article on Brighton, I thought last week they did. Yeah, really nice.
Yeah, no, I'm really enjoying the writing on there this year. So it's good.
Oh, I thought you meant mine.
Oh, you're right. Oh, did you do an article on Brighton?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I
Okay.
thought
that's particularly the article on Brighton. So.
I was like, that's nice of him to say that.
No, I wasn't paying you a compliment. But, yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, no, the articles are great. You know, Neil, Tom, Mark, all the best in the business. So yeah, do check out their site. There's a link in the description where you can use our affiliate link as well, and you get a membership through that. Even more ways to support. You don't need to send us watches, just start to scout. There you go. Sorted. Let's look at the defence. So Arsenal top now.
Yeah.
Of the defence. What do you make of that?
Well, we know they're strong. I mean, I got Gabriel for that reason because I wanted some cover, and a lot of non-Haalanders have got Raya, which I see the merits of. Although I'm still a little bit worried that he could get dropped if I owned him, because I'm surely he's only one or two clangers away from Ramsdale having to get a chance. Is Ramsdale playing tonight? I think he is, isn't he? I think Ramsdale's playing in the Carabao Cup. So he kept a clean sheet last time in the Carabao, didn't he? So
they just conceded. They're 1-0 down.
Oh, there you go. Was it through the legs of Ramsdale after 32 minutes? Okay, fair enough. You're fine if you've got Raya. Okay.
They've ended up with two keepers who was very accident prone. Yeah, they won them down to West Ham. Own goal.
They're both quite similar, aren't they? If they make a mistake, it affects them massively during the rest of the game. And Ramsdale's like that. Like if he kicks it to an opponent or something, and then he starts dropping the ball or being really hesitant. And Raya's exactly the same. It's almost like, I don't remember Raya being like that at Brentford, but it's almost like maybe just the pressure of that bigger stage. Both of them kind of, if they make an early mistake, you can tell they're rattled. And then the opponent goes after them, don't they? I mean, it's a valid tactic because they both look like keepers who've subtly got mistakes in them. I didn't think Raya was that, but
I do think we're all missing a bit of a trick with Raya. I know those without Haaland have gone for him, but wildcarders were so on Turner and Areola. And really, I mean, you look at this data, you look at Arsenal's fixtures coming up, you look at Raya being 4.8. I think he's a bargain. I still think he's a bargain.
But Gabriel's 4-7 and he's got set plays.
Yeah, but he doesn't play.
He will play. So very impressive to be back at the top. But the top two defences are what we thought. In fact, the top three defences are what we thought. If you'd have taken a poll at the start of the season and said who are the top three defences, you'd have gone those three. Chelsea is a surprise to see them up there. 1.06 XG conceded non-penalty per 90. They're on 1.06, Newcastle 1.03. Then there's a big jump to City and Arsenal on 0.73 and 0.72. Just for the podcast who can't see the graphic. I think of those teams at the top, the surprise teams I would say are Everton,
definitely,
which we wouldn't expect, and Chelsea. Now going back to Chelsea, defensively they're doing well, mainly because they're playing a very high possession game. I mean, I think after City, they're the team that's had most of the ball this season. And that's why they're probably conceding fewer chances than most, because they've got a lot of possession. They're certainly not doing much with that possession. We'll talk about that later, I'm sure. Everton, though, I thought Branthwaite was excellent at West Ham. I mean, every time I see him, he gets better and better. Left-footed, very graceful, big, good in the air, strong, good passer. He looks the business. And I probably regret not getting him on the wildcard. I may have to go back to him. The fixtures are poor. I mean, but they do have a good run coming through. I think after 15 or 16, I don't think you want to bring the ticker up. So definitely Everton's bargain defence could be worth looking at, especially when they get into that part of the season where it's like, we've just got to win 1-0, which will come, won't it?
Yeah, so Everton's fixtures are Brighton at home, Crystal Palace, Manchester United, Forest, Newcastle, Chelsea, Burnley, Tottenham, Man City. There's never really a run, is there?
No.
There's like the odd game that you might pick him for.
That's it. So I think he's very much like a player you get in on your bench and you bring him in now and again. Like I'd play him for maybe Crystal Palace away, maybe Forest away, maybe Burnley away. You really want those games to be at home, but actually they've been better away from home.
Yeah, they have.
So,
they can't be any worse than they are at home. They lost 8 or 9 of them at home, something ridiculous.
But the good thing about Everton is they got the set piece threat as well. And I think Tarkowski scored tonight.
Yeah, he has.
So I think they score more goals from corners than any other team. So Everton are definitely worth a look for your 4th or 5th defender, I think, when the fixtures get a little bit better. Elsewhere, there's not too much to surprise me. I'd expect to see Crystal Palace a bit higher, maybe. They're 9th, 1.28.
I'm surprised Brighton is so high, considering we haven't kept a clean sheet all season.
Yeah, that's true. 1.40. Yeah, right in the middle there. Which I think, I'd expect they've had previous seasons where they've been right in amongst the best defences on show, but I think since De Zerbi arrived, the dial has moved much towards attack, hasn't it? This is why, I mean, Stupenham's getting mentioned again, and I'm sure we're going to touch on him when we get to defenders, but the lack of clean sheets does put me off going back in for Stupenham. I know he's so forward-thinking, but if I'm going to get a defender just for their attacker returns, Trippier and Trent come first, really, in that respect. I know Stupenham's cheaper, but I don't know. The Brighton defence, they kept a clean sheet in the Cup, didn't they? That was their first one of the season in Europe against Ajax, wasn't it? So, I don't know. I just feel that De Zerbi doesn't put that priority on defensive resolve, does he?
I really like him as a pick though, because I think you've got cash who's around the 5 million mark. Obviously, got the attacking through. I mean, Villa don't give a huge amount of clean sheets. I know they did against Luton, but they found them fairly hard to kind of gather. I mean, well, no, they didn't keep a clean sheet against Luton, did they? Because they conceded. No, but cash was off the pitch.
And they're under Brighton in this table. Yeah, they're the next one down.
Yeah. And then, obviously you've got, players like Adogi, but that could be an easy move. Simicast looks a great pick, I think, at 4.5 or 4.6, I think he's gone up to now, with the set pieces. And Liverpool's defensive data is climbing. They've had good fixtures, but they're up to 7th. Now, I think that was the worry. That was one of the things that kind of put me off. I was kind of like, they haven't looked great defensively so far. Robertson out, kind of maybe give them a week or two. I think we've seen enough to think they're definitely improving kind of in that regard. Yeah. But then I think, alongside Simicast and Cash, I think Estupiñán gives that attacking potential with good fixtures. And if you're looking for a replacement for Adogi, because those fixtures are turning, I still quite like it. I think he's more than capable of doing well with the fixtures we've got.
Yeah, I mean, the Trippier to Estupiñán would get me 2 million, which obviously I could do quite a lot with, right? Then they can upgrade Palmer to an Mbeumo maybe. So it's definitely something I could look at when Estupiñán's back in the team. I mean, he's back on grass. I think he's getting closer to a return. I mean, he'll obviously come in. I think the only thing is the rotation for Europe will still happen, I imagine. Yeah. So that's the only thing.
This is it. We need him so desperately. Igor played at left back. Lamptey's not quite fit. March is out now, and the Europa League group is so poised because we've won one, lost one, and drawn one. So he's definitely going to play in all 3 of those Europe games. Is he going to play every game after that? I would bet quite a lot of money that he wouldn't. He might even play 1 out of 3 after those games. So he's a risk.
Yeah. Looking at the bottom 4 is what you'd expect, isn't it? Sheffield United at the bottom, 2.22.
Oh my God,
conceded on penalty. That's huge, isn't it?
They are really bad.
So many injuries as well.
It's the record now, isn't it, for the worst start to a season after 10 games?
Is it?
Yeah, worst goal difference, 1 point. Derby are going to be thinking, oh, come on, Sheffield United.
I know. Well, yeah, I mean, all is not well behind the scenes at the club either, so I don't think they're going to get massive investment in January. So I think it's an uphill struggle. And soon, then in January, you start seeing them preparing for the Championship again, don't you? And that's what teams do, right? So I don't think you can make a case for them surviving, even now. I know it's 10 games, but I just don't see it. No. I think it's up for grabs to the rest. I mean, Burnley have disappointed me. I thought when I saw them in the flesh, they were pretty impressive at City Ground. They did well. They had the spell where they looked good. And I thought they'd have enough to win a few or get a few more points by now, but it hasn't happened for them. I think Burnley, Luton, Bournemouth, they've definitely got a lot of fight in them, but I just don't see it from Sheffield United. So Sheffield United are they're whipping boys, right? We've got one. We've definitely got one in them. Yeah.
Yeah. Jake agrees. If you can hear him downstairs. Nice
message
from you.
Someone broke in to collect your watch collection.
I don't know why he's barking. There's no one out there. I loved Mark's back on grass video. I had to become a member for that. Amazing content, says Bakoda Lassen. Thank you very much.
Hey, there you go. Back on grass. Right, okay. Someone said that you should call it Let's Walk FPL. Well,
that's good. That's very good.
Should definitely have called it that.
What did you go with in the end?
Oh, just gone Blackbox Recordings because I've always wanted to call something called Blackbox Recordings.
And then I saw you did your little thing, the static at the start.
Oh, yeah. I've had that in the can for ages, just haven't got round to doing the videos.
What is the camera? I've had quite a few people asking what that camera is. What's the camera
It is the Osmo Pocket 3. It's really tiny. It's like the size of my phone. And it's so inconspicuous. You don't mind walking around the streets talking into it because it just looks like you're doing a voice call. Whereas when you're using one of those great big DSLRs, it's ridiculous. So I'm gonna be at a few events coming up. We'll talk about that at the end of the show, and I'll bring it to that. And so if you're going to any of the meets coming up, pop over. I'll do a quick chat to you and get it on camera.
Interviewed by Mark Sullens. What a dream! What a dream!
You're being sarcastic, aren't you?
No,
never
mate,
know.
Never.
Obviously, yeah, terrible. Right, attack.
Yeah, Newcastle on top. I loved the game against Wolves. I thought it was a brilliant match. You could tell Wolves went into that with such intent to score. And
Neto injury was a blow low, wasn't it, for them?
yeah, he looked so good, and the way it happened as well with him. Basically
dramatic.
Through. I know, and he pulls up. I kind of felt it go in my own.
It was a proper
hamstring.
like
yeah,
hop.
like, oh.
Like the old style injuries you used to get. So often you see them now; they just go down straight away.
Yeah.
But Neto put in some. It's not good to see. I mean, he's such a talented player. He's really stepped up, hasn't he? And he's gone from being a player that we wouldn't trust as an FPL asset to suddenly getting 9 returns in 10 games. And
I think though that. Obviously, he's been brilliant, but I think we all kind of knew he had that in him. That's why so many of us started with him last season, and we kind of knew he had that potential. Hwang, I mean, I've owned Hwang before in the past. I think I owned him last year, and like he was a bit of a joke. I remember me and you laughing about, "Oh, you're not playing Hwang, are you?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I've got no one else left," and I was laughing. He's like a clinical elite finisher now. He's absolutely
fantastic.
Brilliant.
I mean, that goal against Newcastle was so well taken.
Ooh, he's great. Yeah, I really like him.
So I don't know what O'Neill's done with him. He's turned him into a decent Premier League striker, which just didn't seem possible. I didn't even see him as an out and out striker. I always thought he was like a kind of number 10 almost, or like a Diaby role, a support striker. But he's been centre forward for Wolves, and he's done the job really effectively. But I do think, like, if you're looking to Hwang now without Neto in the side, given that Neto has got 8 assists, I don't know if I would go near Hwang now.
So say that again.
I don't think I'd go near Hwang now. What's wrong?
It's like cold booked. I can eat a knob at night. It sounds a bit like it.
Oh dear.
Yeah. I mean, I would go near Hwang.
Would you?
Sheffield United next.
Yeah, that is true.
Anyone against
that is
Sheffield
true.
United
Yeah, true.
It's a good pick. And it's quite an easy sideways move, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, there's still the same player. I think now we've got Hwang as the kind of consideration, because before it was Gordon, Palmer. I went to Dingra, but that was more my own bias. But I think Hwang's in the equation going forward. But yeah, I mean, it's the kind of one where you do kind of want to give it a week and just see what happens without.
I think so.
Neto there, but then you can't wait a week because it's Sheffield United, and that's the best fixture there is. So
okay, I don't know. I don't know. We'll get to predictions later. I don't think that Wolves will cut them apart without Neto. He's so key. I mean, like, must be. We're looking at talismans in the Premier League. There can't be many this season who have emerged as stronger talismans than Neto to Wolves, I don't think. So
yeah.
It's difficult to see. Anything surprise you in this table, as?
I mean, loads surprises me on this table, to be honest. Brentford in 4th without Tony, I think is incredible what they're doing. Beating Chelsea after being really under the cosh for the first sort of 30 minutes of that game.
That is real. Yes,
and
right, yeah.
Mbeumo's the poster boy of this episode, and we'll talk about him in more detail, killing us
Unbelievable.
every week. I'm surprised Man City are in 6th, but we talked about that kind of last week. I'm surprised Arsenal are in 10th still. I thought Sheffield United would really push him up the ranks, but it's still not. They're still for the amount of quality they've got in the side. It's still kind of quite low. I mean, and then like you say, the bottom 4 or 5 is about what you'd expect again. That's when you got your Sheffield United, Burnley, Luton, Fulham, Bournemouth. There's a pattern.
So consistent, yeah. And this is why you just can't give. I mean, Sheffield United are bottom of both tables by a big margin. You just don't see any hope for them.
No.
And Burnley, like I say, disappointing. I'd expect more from them by now. So that company needs to see a revival. I think, unlike Sheffield United, they will give it a go in January. They will try and push and see if they can survive. I think they'll show a bit more ambition. And Luton at the moment outside the bottom 3, and they've got. I think they've got the chops to stay there. So I'm a bit worried as a Forest fan because we're starting to fall down the table. I think we'll be okay when the fixtures get better for us. But I think we're fortunate in that. I think there are 3 teams worse than us this season. Last season it was very, very tight, and I didn't think that for some period, but I do think that at the moment. So I think we'll be okay. West Ham in 12th. I wasn't very impressed with West Ham. It's funny because if I wasn't going to wildcard, I would have gone Bowen. In fact, I'd made my free transfer before playing the wildcard, and I bought Bowen in for Sterling. And then when I was debating my wildcard and whether I should lose Bowen, I had a look at West Ham in a lot more detail. And although Bowen showed up well in the data, and he will when we get to midfielders, West Ham's data did worry me, and I just thought, maybe even with good fixtures, they are, Bowen's going to struggle maybe to keep up the pace with the likes of Diaby, who had even better fixtures arguably in the short term. So in the end, I didn't go with him, and I watched him carefully against Everton, and he did have chances, but not high quality chances. He had one header which perhaps he should have done better with, but West Ham struggled.
What I found interesting as well was they brought Benrahma on for Antonio, and Paqueta started playing through the middle. It wasn't like Bowen switched over into the centre. So we've all been waiting for that kind of new role. But that didn't happen. I mean, Paqueta's suspended for the next game,
and so's Alvarez. So they're down by 2 key players. So
got to back Brentford in that one.
You have, I think, because they're the bottom half of the defensive data and just about in the bottom half of the attacking data. So I'm okay not having Bowen. I still think he should do well with the fixtures they got, but I'm okay going without him. Yeah,
I mean, they're beating a strong-looking, Arsenal side today. I'll say strong. I mean, they've rotated, but they're a strong team, kind of in general. Winning that 1-0. Zinchenko's playing in that. Ben White, Havertz, who's had a great start to his career at Arsenal, like I predicted right at the start. Thank you. 0 attacking returns from open play. Doing well. Oh, God. One other team to mention is Everton in 9th. I mean, if you look at their underlying stats on both attack and defence compared to the other struggling teams, they shouldn't really be where they are. They look really good.
Yeah.
Calvert-Lewin could be an option for us at some point at 5'8".
Super sharp, I thought, against West Ham.
Proper centre forward. A lot of teams could do that. Brentford could particularly do that with that at the moment, with not to rely on Neil Maupay. The Neil Maupay Sanchez thing is one of the funniest things I have ever seen in football.
Right, basically, this is... I mean, I know Mbeumo's great, and we're going to talk about him later, but that... Maupay was never passing that.
It was ridiculous.
Was he? They gave him the assist. Talk about the Saka assist. What about the Maupay assist? Opta gave it to Maupay. I don't think he didn't intend to pass it to Mbeumo, did he? It was Sanchez's tackle that took it through, I thought. So he must have got a last touch.
His Maupay's just gone, isn't he? There's just...
What do you mean gone? Where did he ever arrive?
His head is... He arrived for a bit. I mean, he scored some great goals for us. He in his first kind of season, he led the line brilliantly. He got 10 goals for us a season until he left, but it hasn't worked for him since he's left. But I mean, thank you for that comedy, because Sanchez scrambling back to get it, and the whole thing. I mean, even when Mbeumo scored, I'll take it, because I was laughing my head off. You
could tell Sanchez was thinking, "Shall I just bring him down?" But then I don't want to get suspended, because then I might lose my place.
Did you see Nick Juice's bench boost this week?
No, what did he do? Oh no, what happened?
He bench boosted 6 points. He had Sanchez in goal, who could have been sent off if he had decided to bring him down. He had Destiny Udogie, who didn't play, I believe. Gabriel, who didn't play. 2 others that didn't get any points either.
Spectacular bench boost fail.
6 points. Like that is so low. Like you'd expect 8 just from the 4 getting on the pitch to get less than that. But yeah, do check out FPL Juice, by the way, if you haven't already. It was an excellent episode last night. Delia was on it. I thought she was great.
Yeah, always good. Yeah. Always good juice. Definitely worth a chat out. Derek says, I'm losing credibility trying to say Saka was an assist and Maupay wasn't. What can I say? No, Opta gave the Maupay assist, so they must have seen the touch last off of Maupay. It wasn't given as a fantasy assist. I don't know, though. I'm not. What I'm saying is the intention wasn't in Maupay's head to pass, was it? I don't think.
No.
Sure, I mean, like, it was great. Why would he? He had an open goal. But he was dwelling on it so long. It was like, I'm going to give him... It was just comedic. Giving Sanchez chance to catch up. Then Sanchez caught up and he thought, I'm not going to bring him down. It was like... It was so polite. It was ridiculous.
It was. Nick's bench boost was Sanchez 2, Ward-Prowse 2, Pedro Porro, not Destiny, with 2.
Right.
And then Gabriel with 0. So yeah, 6 points.
I like the idea of playing it early, though, because the bench boost is a curse that you carry throughout the season and then it always lets you down. So, yeah, get it out of the way early. I don't blame them, but that was a disaster.
And Feanor 1977 got 8 on their bench boost.
Well, I beat Nick.
Yeah, you beat Nick. There you go. But you thought that was the lowest it could get. Well, there's always
We've
someone.
got news for you.
Yeah. We're not going to do keepers this week. Binned off. Don't care.
Oh, yeah, because someone was specifically saying, could you look at keepers this week and talk about
in the chat?
Alternatives to Ariola? That was earlier, I saw, yeah. But I mean, I don't think there's much to discuss there at the moment.
Fine, we'd do the.
Well, there isn't. One thing I will say, Turner's getting dropped. This is the time.
Oh my God, we talk about Sanchez's thing. What was Turner doing for that Salah goal?
Got to go. He's got to go for that. Surely.
He could
if you're Mariakis
as well, couldn't he? He tried to handball it and missed.
What's he doing there? I don't know. And I think there's one or two other goals that if we'd have had Henderson in goal, I know this is going to be controversial and be Forest fans screaming, no, he's done well. I think there's one or two other goals where I think Henderson would have probably kept it out.
Why has Henderson gone to Palace to be second choice to Johnson?
Well, he's got an injury problem.
Yeah, but
That's why
Johnson's
we don't.
signed a new contract now.
Well, he's apparently Henderson's their top earner. He's on $100,000 a week. He's their top earner.
Makes absolutely no sense to me.
The reason why Forest didn't get him is because we felt the injury was long term. And so, lo and behold, it turned out to be the case. Yeah. But Turner, for me, I don't know. I think he does the basics well. He looks fairly solid. He's hesitant on some crosses. He's got mistakes in him, as we've seen a couple of times this season. And I just think there's one or two things that he doesn't pull out the bag that a keeper of Henderson's quality used to make saves you wouldn't expect. I haven't seen anything from Turner yet that makes me think, wow, there's no way he had the right to save that. He's made some good saves, but I don't think he's at the same level that I saw from Henderson. But he's made mistakes, and for me, we've got to put Blackademus in and give him a chance. Yeah. And I think Villa's the game to do it. So I'm afraid if you're counting on having Turner for the rest of the season, you may have to rethink soon.
I would 100% go Raya if I had the chance now over Ariola.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, West Ham's defensive data is not great, but I still think the fixtures are good enough where he'll get some returns. It's just that points per 90, 3.8. I mean, Raya is 5 per 90, so you're getting an extra point a game. So,
I just don't think we're going to want we're going to have 3 Arsenal now. I think that's enough. I don't think we're going to want more unless Martinelli really kind of comes back on the radar. But with Odegaard being the same price as Saka, there's no reason to go for Odegaard out of those two.
Yeah.
And then maybe Gabriel or Saliba. But I think Raya's. I just really like Raya. I'm thinking of getting him next
I agree.
week.
I think if I had the money, where would I invest it? I think I would go Raya. Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking of doing.
Because I don't think he's going to get dropped because I just think Arteta's committed.
Yep.
To him.
Yep. Thank you to Porth. You now have a 5-star review on Audible. Thanks. We didn't even know we were on Audible. Did you?
No. Well, yeah, I think you get put on there by default if you upload.
Okay.
The podcast goes on Amazon and therefore it goes on Audible as a result of that. But
this is a good chance to say if you're watching the stream and enjoying it, please do give us a like.
Yes.
If you're subscribed to the channel. We've got more content than ever coming on. We've got Mark's rambles walking along. I'll be doing my team selection video tomorrow. We've got the late tackle on Friday, and then obviously the BlackBox streams on Wednesday. So and Luke's coming on potentially and doing some Q&A next week. So
we're proper content creators now. This channel's going places.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, this is what we get watches for. I
know. So yeah, do give us a like. And also, if you are listening on podcast, you can give us a review on Spotify.
Oh, that'd be nice.
On Google. Yeah, you can even write us a little comment and we read the reviews as well. Yeah. So that'd be nice.
I do read the reviews that I get on the podcast.
Yeah, they're really nice.
Actually.
Yeah, they're really nice. So yeah, we really appreciate it. You don't need to send us a watch or give us a super chat. Just write us a nice review. There you go.
Absolutely. Defenders, yes. So Trippier is in 5th in standings, just behind Stupinan and Cash. So the attacking let's talk about
rate is there, 0.38.
What do you think? Bring up Newcastle's fixtures. Do you think he remains a hold? I think Newcastle in the long ticker. I think they're top of the ticker. If you bring up the long ticker. Sorry, I'm giving out the orders here, aren't I?
Oh, the long ticker.
Sorry. There we go. The top. That's the point. You see. So, do I get rid of Trippier when they're top of the ticker from now until Gameweek 19? I'm looking at these fixtures and thinking, The easier fixtures are away, aren't they? That's the problem. So Arsenal this week, not going to get a clean sheet there. Bournemouth away, maybe. Chelsea at home, yeah, possibly. United at home, yeah, it's not a bad fixture, is it? Everton away, yeah, so I think he's a hold, isn't he, just looking at that? Because Chelsea and United are probably, although on paper they look like difficult home games, they're very troubled, those two, I would say.
My hope is Newcastle start to unravel a bit, like with the Champions League, going. They're probably going to get out. They're probably not going to get out of that group, are they? They're going to have to beat, was it PSG, Milan, and Dortmund? Yeah, that's really tough. And I know they had the amazing result against PSG, but it could be a lot.
They're in a good place, of it. But if they don't get out of the group, what's your point then? You think that's going to affect them around? They're going to dip.
Well, I think it's similar to Brighton. They've had a loss, a win, and a draw, right? Same as us. So it's the pressure's really on, and they're really tough games. Can take a lot out of them, and the fixtures.
Right, I see.
And they're around the time, around Arsenal, Chelsea, and Manchester United, also 3 really tough games. So yeah, I don't know. I would hold if I had him for sure, but as a non-Trippier owner, I'm not as scared as I was 5 weeks ago. No.
I think for me, he makes. I mean, I haven't got a Newcastle attacker, and it's the best of both worlds there.
Exactly.
You've got somebody getting, and he's so involved going forward. And every time they win a free kick or a corner, you're thinking, well, he's taking this.
He hasn't scored a free kick. He hasn't scored yet, has he?
No, I mean, I'm talking about whipping free kicks in. Yeah, I mean, this is it. I haven't seen them win a free kick around the box, but when they do, you've got to think he'll take it. Or he's got a good chance, him and Guimaraes. So, yeah, I think I'll hold. But the only thing for me is if I hold Trippier, I can't do anything with my team, as we see later. But I think he is a hold. Estupiñán, then, if you look at that, if he does come back, I don't think he'll be back for this one. But let's say he's back for Sheffield United. Sheffield United, Forest, Chelsea, Brentford, Burnley. And then Crystal Palace. It's a good run, isn't it? After Arsenal.
He won't play Sheffield United.
Yeah, that's the worry.
There is no way he plays Sheffield United because he's either back for
Chelsea or something.
Well, yeah, he's either back for the Europa League game and then he gets rested for Sheffield United, or he's back for Sheffield United, but then we need him for the Europa League game. So
yeah. That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, I just can't see any way in which he plays that unless he can't. He might, maybe he plays 60 minutes or something, but I don't know. He's been out for a while now, and yeah, like I said earlier, I just think he's too important. I just can't see him playing that match with the other fixtures around. That's perfect game to rest him. All
right, let's go back to defenders and have a look who else we picked out.
Yep, you got Tsimikas in 11th.
Yeah. I mean, like, we've got 2 clean sheets off him, haven't we? We can't really complain about that. And he's kept pace with Trent, and he's actually, this is surprising, he's XGI non-penalty per 90 at 0.22, higher than Trent, which is 0.20. I mean, I know he's only had the 2 starts in Tsimikas, but dare I say it, Trent's been a bit disappointing.
Yeah, yes, yeah. I mean, I was a little bit worried about Tsimikas after the first game, because he went off at 62 minutes when they changed kind of the system. And I still thought, they maybe looked a little bit vulnerable, but the fact he's getting rested in all the other competitions now shows how important I think he is, being that kind of natural left back. And I thought he was much better against Forest as well. And like you say, on some of the set pieces too, he's a gift. I think if you haven't got him, you should just get him. I can't see any reason why you wouldn't get him this week if you don't have him.
No, because the fixtures are good long term. Yeah. Robertson isn't going to be back until New Year, I don't think. They're not going to rush him back. They don't need to rush him back. They've actually been performing well defensively, as you saw in the data. So, Jim Hilkins raising a point there. We need Trent to fire to give Trippier competition. Yeah, and it would make FPL a different game if Trent's in the equation. But at the moment, we're just not seeing enough for us to consider that outlay, is it? It's just no, you're not going there. So
I said that because he's playing tonight. Apparently.
Is he?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's not. Yeah.
So Salah, to be fair, I wouldn't have expected Salah to be playing tonight, but
yeah, I don't worry about that. Tsimikas will probably go off early, so if he played the 90, I might be more worried, but I can't see it. He's going to be playing at Luton, I would have thought.
Yeah.
Unless they maybe look at maybe they need a bit more height and they play Gomez there, but
can't see it. No, I can't see it. Got to look at 25. I was close to getting Dean. Remember I talked about him last week?
Yeah.
He was tempting, but he found a way to troll us, didn't he? Cash goes off, and they concede.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
for people who did buy him, welcome to the ownership of Luca Dean. And
That's how it goes.
what happened today? Moreno back in training.
Is he?
Yeah. So
I don't see Dino losing his place though. I think he's been so effective for them. I don't see Moreno coming back in maybe for another couple of, maybe 3-4 weeks.
he's not. You wouldn't buy Dean now though, would you?
Not now. I know Moreno's back in training. I guess no. Shame because I was flirting with the idea, but no. Cash keeps doing well, doesn't he? He's right up there, third in our table, 0.43. Gets forward a lot. He set up another great chance of Watkins in that game. So he was unlucky not to get the assist there, wasn't he?
I mean, he was unlucky not to get the assist. Bloody hell. I mean, quite a few people we know Captain Watkins. It was one of his best XG performances.
It was his best XGI performance of the season.
Yeah, and he comes away with a blank. I mean, honestly, I very, very nearly captained him. When you buy in a new player for a great fixture, you want to kind of show the faith, don't you, and give them it. And in the end, it was only because I was already tripled up on Villa, and I thought, oh God, if there's a surprise here, I kind of want to manage it a little bit. But it's so unfortunate because he could have come away, with a bigger haul than Salah did. And Salah got lucky because of Turner's rash decision. It was complete. This is the captaincy. The last few weeks
there.
Yeah.
I mean, again, Salah was, I wouldn't say he was unimpressive, but he was kind of like a support player. Really, it was an easy game for him. He was prancing around, laying the ball off, playing little chip passes to Darwin. You know what I mean? He was not arrogant, but he was not on. I don't think he was playing on full tilt. Put it that way. I think he was more like, well, I'm going to try and set up some goals for Darwin in particular. He was linking well with him, but he never really looked a massive goal threat in that game. I don't think Salah. Until obviously Turner put him on a plate.
He's going to find it hard against Luton. I think he's going to find it hard against Luton. There's just going to be no space to work with. We talk about this. This is the week, isn't it? This is like when Haaland captain for us who haven't sold him. He's got to come in.
Well, yeah. I mean, people without Haaland will be worried about that, and they'll hope that Salah can come in with a return at Luton. But yeah, I mean, I don't think you can say that he hasn't been quite fortunate with his returns in the last 3 weeks, and that's in a week where we captained him and benefited. But yeah, he's played against 10 men twice, and he's got 2 penalties, and he's got gifted a goal against Forest. So
Yep. Phenol 1977. Watkins captainer and cash owner. That miss cost me at least 11 points. Oof.
Painful.
I know, it is, isn't it?
One thing I will say about Salah, he's the best FPL player in the history of the game. So there is that, maybe in his favour. Apart from that, been lucky.
Speaking of best players, what do you make of the Ballon d'Or going to Messi?
Yeah, I mean, the main coverage I've seen of the Ballon d'Or is that speed guy with his stupid reaction that's all over that he's getting loads of publicity, which has just depressed me. That was ridiculous. I just think that's an insult, isn't it? It's meant to be like a prestigious award, and he's like getting clicks out of making fun of the whole kind of Messi thing. I mean, it was a bit, I always want it again, and I get what he was trying to say, but it was a bit like cringe, wasn't it? As Billy would say. I think that's what the kids say now, isn't it?
They do, yeah.
So that's the main coverage I've seen of Ballon d'Or is that clip, but
something's gone wrong. Yeah, that's the main bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I think it's we're all pray at the altar of Messi, and we all know how good he is, but it would be nice to see a bit of variance. It's like Anton Deck winning the 19 consecutive presenter awards on the TV awards. It's just like that.
That'll be us at the FCA's, Mark.
I'm comparing, yes, 2 consecutive years. Come on, Nigel, get it for the 3rd year when he goes. But yeah, it's Messi to win it 8 times is, I guess he deserves it. But let's see another name on the trophy. Did you want Haaland to get it?
I think it's ridiculous that Messi got it. To be honest. I don't really know what else you can do if you're Haaland. He's playing for a country that is probably not going to win the World Cup or get close. And what are you supposed to do? You can't magic your country. And one player can't magic their. Argentina team is far superior to Norway's. He's won the treble. He's broken records. I just think it was all done for the fanfare of Messi rather than being an unbiased decision, which it should be. Each year. So yeah, I was disappointed but not surprised. Is what I'd say.
Yeah, it's almost as scandalous as Ant and Dec winning that. But everything Ant and Dec does is great as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah.
So I'm Celebrity Get Me Out start soon. They still doing that?
What was that? Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's essential viewing in our house. That is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Liz Truss, I hear, is being lined up.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for the phone call. I mean, I'd love to do it.
Oh, I would love to see that. I would love to
I'd
see
be
that.
terrible in that, wouldn't I? I'd be out after an hour. I'd be like, oh, where's my bed? Where's me?
No, you'd be live streaming from the jungle.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, with my camera.
You can take one personal item in, can't you? You could take in the camera.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
so. They're taking like teddy bears and stuff.
You can smuggle stuff in your underwear like a prisoner.
Okay.
You? So maybe I'd stuff my camera. Anyway, let's not go. Where's this going?
I have no idea. There should be an
Let's talk about the sales. Come on.
I'm a Celebrity. Come on, FPL Juice. They should get on that.
I'm a celebrity for FBL content creators. That'd be good. Yeah. Not that content creators are celebrities.
Here we
go.
go.
Jesus, what have I said?
They think they're so Mark thinks
give us your 50 quid.
Mark thinks he can go.
Where's my watch?
Where's my watch?
Oh, there, this has gone downhill, hasn't it? Right, let's talk about FPL.
Let's talk about Jamal Lascelles.
Yes.
Yep. What do you make of him?
Is he a bargain? I think he's got to be, isn't he? 4 million now. Missed him at 3.9. Where's the nearest Pret? It's true. Is there a Pret in the jungle? I wanted to debunk the idea that with Lascelles, Newcastle have been defensively worse, because they haven't. As you see in the data here, every bit of defensive indicator has been stronger without Botman and with Lascelles. But look at the fixtures. They played Burnley, West Ham, Palace and Wolves in the 4 games without Botman. Whereas before, the 6 games with Botman, it was Villa, City, Liverpool, Brighton, Brentford, Sheffield United. Apart from Sheffield United, 5 of the best attacking teams in the league this season, right? Brighton and Brentford are definitely that. Whereas in the last 4 with Lascelles, they played very weak attacks, no doubt. Right? So I don't think we can read too much into the data. But at least what we're seeing from the data is what we'd expect. I don't think you can draw conclusions and say, well, without Botman, Newcastle aren't going to keep clean sheets. I don't think that's a thing, particularly when you look at the ticker and you go, well, they're top of the ticker between now and Gameweek 19. So I think you can move for Lascelles and think that you're going to get a few clean sheets out. I mean, look at it, 17, 18, 19. If Botman's still out then, and I think he probably will be, then you're going to play him in those 3 games, Fulham, Luton, Forest. And I think, as I said earlier, 12 and 15, maybe even for 13, 14, you'd consider playing him. So with Simicast and Lascelles, these are bargains that I think you can't turn down myself.
I really like the Lascelles punt. I think, if people are looking to free up money, like you say, with Trippier down, if you're not really liking those fixtures, even someone like Cher or Burn down to Lascelles can save some money. Yeah, and I've been impressed with him. I think he's kind of obviously he's the captain, and he wasn't playing, and I think he came back into the team, and he's kind of one of those players who's kind of reminiscent of the old guard, all the problems they had under Steve Bruce, and you maybe think, well, they're looking for kind of any reason to get rid of him, but he's kept the captaincy. He's kind of got his chance now to impress again. I think he's taken it. I know the fixtures have been quite kind, but you can only do and I mean the. He's played in the PSG game as well.
Played well in that.
Yeah, played really well in that. So there's no reason for them to rush Botman back. So I think you've got him for a good, got him for a good 3 or 4 weeks at least.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. When you think, with Lascelles, they've only conceded, 1 goal to PSG and 1 goal to Dortmund in the Champions League. So I don't think you can make a case and say, without Botman, Newcastle aren't going to get clean sheets. That's basically what I'm saying. Don't think you can state that right now. And if the fixtures were bad, then I'd be saying, maybe it's not worth it. But I don't think those fixtures are bad, particularly when the 2 most difficult games after Arsenal are Chelsea and United at home. And I would say that at the moment, neither of those teams will maybe have enough to break the Newcastle defence down, even without Botman there. So
we're the 3rd best defence in the league statistically.
Yeah,
kept the most clean sheets, I believe, as well. Maybe that's Palace. But they're right up there. He's the one I'd pick if I was looking for a 4 million defender. I'd pick him over Branthwaite or Taylor or anyone. I think Lascelles is again he's going to be a gift for a little while.
Yeah,
so,
indeed.
I like
bargains everywhere.
I know.
Midfield. What have we got there?
Well, we've still got the bargain in Mbeumo, who's gone down in price and is now going up in price. I think it's something like that. Amazing start to the season for him. 6 goals, 2 assists so far.
Have you had him this season?
I have. I managed to get 3 blanks out of him. Do you know, I still haven't had...
You got him for that spell where he didn't get any return.
Yep. I still haven't had a return from my 5th midfielder in 10 weeks because a Dingra came in this week. And I didn't. So that's been...
You can keep that run going. You should make
impressive,
a series
isn't
out
it?
of that.
If I finish in the top million and I've basically played with 10 men all season, I think that's pretty good going.
You should, on your team selections, you just pick that out, who your 5th midfielder is. And
I've had Richarlison, Mbeumo, Ward-Prowse and Adingra and had 2 points every week.
I mean, before Adingra, all those players have done well for spells of the season and you've managed to miss it.
It's amazing.
Navigate your way around the returns. It's like me and Reece James.
Oh, it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. But yeah, Mbeumo's looking like the pick of the 6-5s at the moment. Although Brentford's fixtures are tough. It's a real classic form versus fixture. This is the long ticker. They've got the blank in 18.
Home games are all right.
Yeah, but they've got Villa, they've got Liverpool, they've got Arsenal. They're playing us away, which in theory shouldn't be too easy. But yeah, the home games are good. West Ham, Luton, Wolves, and they do have a Sheffield United in there. So it's a kind of a bit of a mixed bag. The blank puts me off.
Yeah, the blank's the problem as well. I think the interesting thing as well, we didn't expect him to get returns at Chelsea, and he went and got a double. Yeah, okay, there was fortune in it, let's face it. And to be fair, I know this might be controversial. I think he has been probably amongst the most fortunate players this season. Not in terms of XG, because his XG is amazing.
Analytics aren't going to like that.
I know, but I'm not saying the XG is amazing. He's underperformed according to the XG, and you can't deny that. And maybe if your measurement of how fortunate a player is or variance is purely based on XG, fair enough, I haven't got a case. But I'm just harking back to the fact that, the Fulham game, it was a very soft penalty. They went down to 10 men. He not only scored the penalty, he got a tap in when Fulham were down to 10 men on the break in a very similar scenario to the one we saw at Chelsea. So he's got 2 of those goals on the break, and the one at Chelsea, as we've already discussed, Mopay wasn't meaning to pass that. So the fact it even failed for him was fortunate. So it's not fortunate in terms of his performance. His level of performance has been brilliant, as we're going to see in a minute when we look at the data. But some of the circumstances around some of his returns have been quite fortunate, I would say.
I wouldn't disagree with that. Let's go back to midfielders. We need to sort some of these screens out. There's so many of them. Actually, we can talk about Mbeumo here. You nearly missed this pun.
What did I put?
You had life with Brian.
Yeah, because I thought life of Brian was 2 on the nose.
I didn't, and I changed it.
See, I'm Mr. Subtle, but you're straight in with the sledgehammer.
Subtle Sullens. Oh, come on, life with Brian's good.
I guess it works, but I was like, well, I don't want to go with that. That's the obvious. And then you go, oh, you missed this. I'm going to change it to the obvious. Fair enough. Sometimes simple is best. Yeah, I mean, it shows the data this season. Incredible, isn't it? And I think what's interesting, I put the heat maps there because I wanted to see how his role has changed. And it has changed, but it's changed in a way where you wouldn't expect, because the middle heat map is 22-23, when you can see that he was playing out wide, but drifting in more and partnering Tony when they went 2 up top. And he has been this season, but clearly so far. By the way, these heat maps are all after 10 games, right? So this is where he was after 10 games this season, last season, and the season before that. Early 21-22, you can see he was part of a front 2 and wandering around all the way, and wasn't one side or the other. He's a lot of times central and drifting, almost a free roll with Tony down the middle. Second season, definitely more out on the right, is it? Or is he the left side he plays? I can't think what side it is. I think it's left side. Yeah. But, occasionally playing in the front 2, so therefore he has that coverage in the centre. This season, less so in the front 2, obviously, because they only play a front 2 when they play 3 at the back. And he's been wide and actually tracking back more as well. You look at the touches he's had in his own half. So I think since the Henry injury, because he does play left side, because Henry plays out there, doesn't he? Since the Rico Henry injury, he's been playing wing back in the closing stages of games and tracking back to cover that area, because obviously they've been weaker without Rico Henry there. So that's why the heat map shows that. So if anything, you look at the heat map and think, well, his data's probably going to go down, but it hasn't. It's gone completely the other way.
Well, I was struck when I saw him at Palace because I went to the game and I thought he looked very out wide, and they're kind of reflective of this. And I thought, but he was making very clever runs. He was getting into central positions quite a lot, but his general starting position was right kind of on the line. For the benefit of the podcast listeners, just looking at the stats. I mean, the key one obviously is XG over 90. That's at the highest it's been for the last 3 years, 0.78. It was 0.45 last year, 0.38 the year before that. So kind of a steady improvement. Accuracy, I think, is a key one, 48%. That's in keeping with last year, which was 46, up from 26 in his famous first season when he hit the post every
the woodwork season,
time,
as we like to call it. Yeah.
But look at the conversion. I mean, in the woodwork season, it was 5%, and then it rose to 12%, and now it's at 22. So, is it a steady improvement of conversion, or is it unsustainable?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, those conversions include the penalties, and like I said, he has had 2 goals where they were high XG chances. The one at Fulham, which was a tap in with the goalkeeper missing, and the one at Chelsea with tap in with the goalkeeper missing. So his conversion rate has been boosted by those penalties and those 2 chances, no doubt. But he's also missed some sitters though this season. His XGI has been strong, and some could say he should have more points than he's got. Because I've seen him in games and he's blazed over the bar from 10 yards out when he should have scored. He's been a very odd player actually, because he's got a fantastic goal against Bournemouth, was it? The curling effort from the edge of the box. So he's gone from the sublime to ridiculous in that he's missed real sitters and then yet he's scored the odd worldie as well. So yeah, he's just a box of tricks because he takes set plays, he's got penalties, and he's a bargain. So why haven't I ever have him? Why don't I get him?
You were very critical of him, I believe, at the start of the season.
I was sceptical.
And with the stats.
Yeah, I was totally sceptical, and I've been proved wrong, sure. I mean, I went Diaby instead, and Diaby's not...
Oh. Mark's gone. Mark's back.
Lost you there a bit, as.
Was it me or you?
Yeah, I don't know who that was. I'm back now anyway, and you're back now. Yeah, I was sceptical with Mbeumo at the start of the season, but he's just proved me wrong. And although I've gone Diaby and done okay with it, I definitely got the Sterling move wrong, and perhaps should have gone to Mbeumo at that point. And the models continue to like him, the analytics crew continue to like him, and his output shows why.
How did I manage 3 blanks from Mbeumo when he scored in that?
I don't know. That's the mystery of it. I mean, who are you next getting for 5th midfielder? We want to know. Please don't get Turner.
At least he's a Dingra. At least he's only 5 million. Yeah. Come back to some of the other midfielders. Son is in 5th. He is looking just really, really good. Mark's gone again. Is this me? Can everyone still hear me fine? Let me know if you can still hear me. I think it's Mark's connection. He did say there was rain earlier.
Yeah, it's the weather.
Yeah, it's you. Oh, no. Honestly, Mark's got all this tech, all this fancy shed.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the weather is affecting the internet around here.
No.
I got a warning about my water being cut off. I can stand that. No water is fine. No internet? What are they doing? I can't have no internet. Water, who needs that?
He's gone for a walk and a vlog.
Not in this weather, I can tell you.
Okay, at least
hopefully
it's
back for
my
good.
connection.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's
no,
right.
it's me. It's my end, definitely.
Let's get on with things then. So in case you
it is a crazy storm. You're absolutely right. FPL uproar. It's yeah. Right, move on forwards. That shouldn't take long.
Well, just quickly on Son, because I know some people have sold him, right? Because they went Son to Saka as quite an easy move. Another great goal from him. If you haven't got him, say you sold him, would you be getting him back?
Yes.
Yeah, you think he's that important?
I just think the concerns we had about his fitness in his minutes are beginning to be extinguished. He stayed on for the 90 at Palace, didn't he?
Superhero's on a good one today.
Yeah, he's brilliant. No, he's always good, isn't he?
Yeah.
But I just think, I mean, it was a typical Son performance, right? He's not getting involved in the build-up that much. He is basically taking the role that we've seen from Haaland and Watkins this season, which is I'm going to stay within the width of the penalty area, going to wait for the chances, and then I'm going to convert. And he's doing it. and he did it again at Palace. He didn't impress me much, but he didn't do much other than stick around the edge of the box or in the box and convert the chance.
Oh, Mark, how can this happen? Where are you now? Are you back?
I'm back, yeah, but the internet keeps going up and down, so sorry about that.
You going to the hotspot? Would that help?
I don't know what's going on. I'm obviously down the end of the garden. I can't tell what's going on in the house, so I don't think
House
it.
flooded.
I think it is purely the storm causing the problem. So apologies, but yeah, let's see if we can get through to the end.
Yep. Well, just finally then on Saka. I mean, I haven't got Saka. I've made it hard for myself to get Saka next week because I can't do it for one free transfer. I mean, whatever you say, it was a fortuitous assist. I think in that match. But he is incredibly reliable, isn't he? Again, where would you kind of put him on the sort of essential list?
I think Son's above him.
Yeah,
I do. I think I'm glad I've got Saka because Arsenal's fixtures are very strong now. So I think that it's a fixture decision at the moment. I think he's by far Arsenal's best asset in attacking terms. Whereas previous seasons you've been able to go to a Martinelli or an Odegaard or even a Jesus. I don't think they're options anymore. Jesus is out. Odegaard's, don't know, just simmering this season. He's not really... He's had the penalties and he's scored some points and he's done okay in terms of output, but he hasn't impressed in terms of his contribution to matches in attacking areas. He hasn't looked dangerous. You don't watch a game and go, I need to get Odegaard. He looks threatening, whereas you did last season. And Martinelli's just had the injuries and not really had that run of starts he needs. So I think Saka is essential... Well, he's not essential. Saka is important because of Arsenal's fixtures and because he's a dominant player.
Yeah, I mean, and Nketiah, is the option as we're going to talk about in the forwards. I mean, Martinelli with Nketiah, we've got enough data now to show that he's not as effective when Jesus isn't playing. Nketiah, I mean, we've got a shout out to Praz and anyone else that bought Nketiah in because a hat trick. I wasn't even sure he'd start. I thought he might, Havertz might come up top, but he's been so poor. They just gave it to Nketiah, Nketiah, talk about understudies to a striker. He's about as good as it gets, isn't it? He's a brilliant player. I really like him.
I love going to him when Jesus is injured.
Yeah.
This time I did look at it because I think when I was doing late tackle or the last show we did before the Wildcard, I said I'm going to have a look because of the Wilson and Nketiah options that have come alive now that Isak and Jesus have had their injuries. I had a quick look, but I didn't want to move to free up front. But fair play for you, for Praz and others who went Nketiah, because we've shown in the past the data always supports going Nketiah when he gets starts. That's for sure.
Yeah. Nunez, top of the pile, 1.02. He's looking good. I really like the Nunez punt now. I've really done a 180 on that.
Are you happy with it? I mean, with the Diaz situation, which is obviously incredibly awful at the moment, but Gakpo and Jota are fit. But so Diaz, with him out, Nunez could end up on the left or alternate with Jota, couldn't he? So I guess he is more secure now. The data's unquestionable. You can't challenge the data.
As De Zerbi says, he's in a good moment.
Yeah,
I can't see Klopp benching him in the league with the way he's been playing. His just all round game has gone up another level. He's improved so much. He's still, even the goal he scored kind of bounces off his knee, didn't it? When he was in the right position, he gets into them. I think he's a really, really good pick. I really like it, and for the Luton game, I think if you've got him. And I think, with the no Haaland strategy, I think that Nunez, you'd be hoping can cover him. If you've got Nunez and Salah captain in that game, the hope is that Liverpool score a lot. I hope it doesn't work out like that. I think it is going to be potentially more difficult. But I'd still expect Nunez and Salah to get something from that.
Yeah, I mean, you're not selling Watkins to get Nunez, though, are you?
No.
So really, he's the golden boy for those who haven't got Haaland. Yeah. And that's what those managers will be hoping, that Salah and Nunez combined, with Salah captain and Nunez, can make the gap up should Haaland deliver again against Bournemouth.
Yep. Perfect striker who the eye test would tell you not to buy, the other stats would. Jackson, 0.66. They're good stats.
He was terrible. Absolutely terrible, wasn't he?
He's not going to keep his place, is he? I heard you say on your vlog.
Palmer will play up front, surely. I would have thought so. I mean, he's playing tonight, Jackson, and Palmer's out wide, but we saw Palmer play the false nine against Arsenal at home, so against Spurs away, I'd imagine he'll do that again. Palmer's got to play because he was their best player again. And although he's not a striker, I don't think Jackson's a striker at the moment. They highlighted it, didn't they? He's just not showing any. He's not making the runs that he was making earlier in the season. He doesn't seem to have the. I don't know if he just lacks the football brain to anticipate where to run. Palmer, who's 21 or 20, was telling him where to make his runs. Did you see it? There was a point where he goes, and then he got the ball back and he gave it back to the fullback. And Jackson finally made that run into the channel when he got the ball. But he only did it because Palmer said, get in there, get in there. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, I know that, in previous clubs he's played as a wide striker. Maybe it doesn't come natural to him leading the line. But it's worrying, isn't it, if you're a Chelsea fan, that if he's your only option, they need Nkunku as soon as possible. And I think when he does get fit, he'll play right down the middle. There's no question, I don't think.
2 goals when, he's started as many games as he has. It's an unbelievably bad return from Jackson.
Yeah, but I don't mind him playing, missing chances and playing well, because you think his time will come.
Yeah.
And that was the case early in the season.
He's gone again. Hello. This is where we should have had Andy North. Me and Andy could have carried this throughout this. Sorry to everyone. Having some technical issues.
I'm back.
You're back.
Yeah, it's not really technical issues. It's just weather-created issues.
Weather issues.
Yeah, there's not a lot I can do about it, I don't think. I don't think this has anything to do with my connection in the shed. I just think it's generally around here. The connection's going because of the storm.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll quickly just touch on Pedro and Ferguson. I mean, people who went for Pedro like slippers will be probably rightfully upset they didn't go for Nketiah, a benching compared to a hat trick. But if you've got him, I think you hold him. I think that was always going to be a heavily rotated game. I mean, that match, given the Ajax match, I think he's fine for 5.3 on pens, good stats. He'll definitely start our next game. So I really would strongly not advise selling him ahead of that, ahead of the match against Everton. I'm like 99.9% sure he'll play because he's been one of our best players over the last few weeks. And Ferguson, he was someone that I wanted to take a punt on this week. Scored the goal, but like I mentioned earlier, De Zerbi's comments, he's not first choice at the moment. Our first choice, I'm pretty sure the attack at the weekend will be Fati up top as striker with Pedro just behind him, and then Mitoma and Adingra on the right. I'm sure that is, of all the options we've got, I think that is what De Zerbi wants to play most weeks. And Fati's looking pretty good now. So as a punt, if you're looking for a 6-5 punt for the next couple of weeks, I think Fati will be playing out of position. I think he's an exciting one.
It's weird, isn't it? Because Ferguson's almost like the cheaper Darwin. It's like we're waiting for him to have that run and starts and be established. And it's never coming. I mean, obviously it will come with seasons to follow, but I don't think it's going to happen this season because I think you're right. I think what you named there is De Zerbi's first choice strike force. I guess this is why Mitoma's so important because he is the most secure starter. At the moment.
I think Adingra is going to start pretty much every game as well because we just don't have anyone else. Buonanotte was going to be shipped off on loan over the summer. He just hasn't looked up to it. He's not at the moment, although the potential's there. I just don't think he's Premier League standard. So he's going to come on for the last 20 minutes of games. Adingra and Mitoma will start every Premier League game, I imagine. If we get an injury to Adingra, we're in big trouble, I think.
Haaland's jumped up the table here a bit, 0.89 XGI non-penalty per 90, which is getting to the levels we expect, into the 90s like he was last season, I believe. It's amazing what that Man United game does for you, isn't it? So he did have a run, though. He did have a run where we were starting to question whether, something had changed with Alvarez playing with him, whether they weren't getting him the service without De Bruyne there. But, I think we kind of put those doubts to rest with the United game. And we'll see if he delivers against Bournemouth. We expect at least one return, don't we? So we'll see.
He's got to get us some points. He's got to wipe the smugness off some of their faces.
No, I think it'll be an unkind. I don't think anyone's smug about it. I think it was a fair move, and I think it hats off to people who gambled with it. I think it was right when you look at the run that Salah had, when you look at the run that Haaland had. If if you look at like the hop on, hop off chart that Legamale does, it's a clear option to go back Liverpool in this period, come off City and then jump back. And with AFCON as well, there's clearly an option to move Salah to Haaland, around game week 17, 18 when Salah disappears to that tournament. But it's game week 16, I think people will move because they'll need Haaland for the Luton game, I think. So, yeah.
They're a bit smug, and rightfully so. But it's the way all the other options have done well, like Nunez coming in, like Raya coming in, Luka Zinchenko, fair play. They were all good picks, and it has worked out well. So if they can get, I think they'll feel if they can get through this week, then it's plain a sailing because the fixtures really really toughen up for Man City.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yep. Right, let's take a look at our predictions, and we have a new chart here. This is
you put the members' predictions in.
Yeah, this is the members' prediction. So this is what you can join if you sign up to the Godfather tier.
And we do zero work on this, by the way.
It's amazing.
So we can't sell this as a perk because they actually do it for us.
Thank you so much to Lee who sets this up and kind of updates this. It's brilliant. You can see our names there. I'm in 7th on this list. Mark, you're down in 14th, beating you at something. The real quiz, as they say.
Oh yeah. Okay, fair enough.
But doing well, both on 60%-ish.
Yeah.
Kind of returns on these, which is nice. There will be a prize for this as well. Not sure what that'll be yet, but whoever comes top we'll do a prize for that and the main league too. Why not?
Christmas dinner or something. I said, didn't I? Or something.
Deliveroo order. That's what you promised the winner in our first season. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I don't think I forgot them. I don't think they ever. I think we said get in touch and as we'll buy you a takeaway, and they never did. So if you did win the league in our first year of doing BlackBox, then I still owe you a
kebab.
Yeah. Right, these are the fixtures. We've got a bit different actually on some of these this week. Fulham, Manchester United. Manchester United losing tonight 2-0 to Newcastle. Obviously they're in a bad moment. At home. I've gone for a win for them. I'm still not that impressed by Fulham. Bassey looked better, but like I said, they all stepped it up. They always step it up against us. You've gone for a draw. A draw against Fulham would be.
I just think both teams are struggling to get goals. I just, United look so low on confidence, and I think they'll struggle to break Fulham down, and they're going to concede as well. So I think a very unglamorous game, and
Garden Centre.
This would be Garden Centre material for me. I mean, I'm not scrambling to get to such a quick flash of Charlie we get now.
I was inspired by Billy. Remember when he did it at the live one we did?
Yeah.
When he great comic timing, just gave it a little whoop.
Yeah. Just the fact that I'm not scrambling to get home from wherever I am, whether it be a Garden Centre or anywhere else, to watch Fulham Man United. I just don't think there's much. Number one, we haven't got any FPL players in that game, probably. And number two, I don't think it's going to be a great game, even if you did. So that's the game we can lose, I think.
It's bad that we're not considering United players for the fixtures they've got.
Yeah.
Sheffield United, Fulham. It's like just quickly look at the ticker. It's all the best. It's all the best teams they could be playing. Their fixture run's amazing. If Fulham, Luton, Everton in the next 3 games.
Yeah.
Amazing 3. Sorry, I said Sheffield United. They've played them already, haven't they? Just about won that. Won that one. Let's come back to this. Okay, Brentford, West Ham. I think Brentford wins comfortably.
Brentford win, yeah.
Yeah, I think they win it quite comfortably.
It's the missing players, isn't it? Alvarez and Paqueta. And West Ham's defence hasn't been strong. Brentford's attack, as we've seen, is right up there. And I think around the 3-1, 2-1 mark is the right way to go. Yep.
Burnley Palace. That would be a Garden Centre game if they were playing a bit later. I've gone for a 1-0 Palace. You've gone for a 0-0. Not many goals in that then.
No, again, I think Palace strong defensively. Burnley will struggle to break them down, but Palace don't really offer much going forward. So a very low-scoring game. And I've gone 0-0, the ultimate low-scoring game.
We have gone high-scoring in the next one. Everton Brighton. You've both gone for 4 goals. I think we win this comfortably. I think we play a really strong team in this one, and we'll have too much for Everton. So I've gone for a 3-1. You've gone for a 2-2.
Yeah, I quite like Everton. The data's good. Calvert-Lewin looks sharp. Brighton's defence suspect. Game of goals, 2-2. I like it. Yep.
City Bournemouth, big wins.
Drubbing.
4-0, 3-0. Come on, Haaland.
Not too much to say about that, really.
There'll be triple captains played on him this week, I think.
You think?
Yeah.
Not sure about that.
Yeah. It's never. I would never revise it in double game week, but it does look primed for a big City win here, I think.
I mean, Bournemouth got their first win last
did.
week. Is that significant? Do they go to the Etihad with a bit of confidence and determined to build on that? And we saw I think we saw Haaland in his first season play Bournemouth, and I think he had about 6 touches or something, and only got an assist. And
we didn't have him. We didn't have him in that, did we?
Yeah. So you just never know, do you? It's very unpredictable. But Bournemouth have been poor up until last week, so you'd expect a heavy victory for City.
Yep. Sheffield United Wolves. You've gone for your 1-1 that you mentioned earlier. Tougher game without Neto. I've gone for a 1-0 Wolves.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. I think that's. Again, your score would be my alternative option. A Wolves win, narrow win, very few goals. Yeah,
good call from James. Planet FPL mentioned Ait-Nouri playing in kind of midfield role. So again, if you are looking for a potentially an attacking defender
for this week,
could be a good pick. Newcastle Arsenal. This is a tough one. I really struggle with this. I mean, Arsenal getting battered tonight by West Ham, but as much as it is a strong team, it's still not their main team. You've gone for a 2-2. I think Arsenal just nick it. I think game plan wise, Arteta might just have the beating of Howe in this one, but it won't be easy. These are the kind of games, if they can win this, they're going to have real kind of hopes for the title, I think. It's just about as hard as it gets. It's
a ding-dong battle, this, for me. I think that attacks will come out on top in this one. Yeah, it's really. This is the one that really gave me problems as well. I think I changed the score several times. I do see goals, but I don't see a winner. So I've gone 2-2. Which is bad news for me because I've got Trippier. I've got a hope for an attacking return. He's rested tonight, by the way. Livermento's playing, so that's good news at least. Newcastle's team does look weaker than Arsenal's tonight, so it looks like Newcastle have gone out and rested more players, I would say,
who's up front
than Arsenal. They've played Anthony Gordon down the middle.
Okay.
So that's interesting because I know that I listened to Joe and General today talking about, well, Gordon could end up down the middle if Wilson needs a rest, and that's happened tonight. Not when you need it, though, not in the Premier League. So it's fair enough because Wilson can't play midweek and weekend, so it's pretty predictable he would get the rest tonight, and he has. He's on the bench. So I would say that Newcastle are looking like they're going to go into that game a bit fresher because you're right, Arsenal's line-up tonight is quite strong, isn't it?
It kind of looks it on paper, and then you realise actually a lot of those players don't kind of play.
I guess so.
A lot.
It's only 3 or 4.
Yeah. So but I mean, I still think it's a decent team. Forest Villa. You going to this one?
No, I couldn't get a ticket. I left it too late, then couldn't get a ticket. So what I'm doing, I'm going to the Planet FPL event on Sunday, and I'm going to watch it live there. Yep. So that'll be fun. But I've got 3 Villa players, so I really don't know how I'm going to react here because this is a classic of head versus heart. It's like head says, keep the Villa players because they probably will get returns out of this game, but heart says, why are you backing against Forest so heavily?
And you've gone 3-1.
3-1 Villa.
3-1. I've gone 2-0. Yeah.
They're too good, Villa. I know they're stronger at home, but I think we're slightly troubled at the moment. We need our knee back fit. I don't know if he'll start. I think we can score, but I just don't see us keeping that attack out. That attack for me looks so effective. And the movement of Watkins and Diaby scares the life out of me.
And Douglas Luiz as well is playing so well. Another assist
all
for
over
him.
the pitch.
Yeah.
They're top 4 contenders. I really do think they could push it. If they're lucky with injuries, the way Emery's got them playing, they could push top 4. I don't think they'll make it. I think they'll get top 6.
Is the impact they've got off the bench? I mean, Bailey, when he comes on, looks good and he's getting goals. And they're having to rely on him to start because of his fitness. They've got Moreno coming back, who's obviously a great option to Dean. So they're just getting stronger, it seems, as it kind of goes on.
Yeah.
Interesting to see what they do in January. Luton, Liverpool. Yeah, I said earlier, I think this could be a close, a tougher one. Yeah, I think it's similar to Spurs. I think Spurs kind of got ruined by the red card. But I think if Liverpool can score early, then it can happen in a lot of goals. If they can't,
the early goal.
Yeah, if they don't score, then I think they might make it tough. But so, yeah, in the end, I bat the bigger result. I don't think 4-0 and 4-1 would be great for us, seeing as we're going no Salah captain, we haven't got Darwin.
No.
4-1 would be awful with Simicast as well. It'd be about as bad as it gets.
You've got to read what you see, and I do see a heavy Liverpool victory here. Yeah, so I even though Haaland could deliver, I think again the non-Haalanders will do all right because Darwin and Salah will get something.
Darwin just scored again.
Man in
form. And then finally Spurs v Chelsea on Monday night. I've gone for a 2-0 Spurs. You've gone for a 2-1 Spurs.
Yeah, I mean, derby game, there's a bit of spice in it. I think Chelsea can get a goal. I'm not like massively convinced with the Spurs defence. They've done well. The keeper's been impressive. But I think obviously you can't read too much into the Palace game because Palace didn't really test them in any way. I think Chelsea they'll be better away from home. I think at Stamford Bridge they've struggled, but I think they could nick one. But Spurs will win this because they find a way. They're a team under Ange that just finds a way, I think. But I think Palmer will play down the middle. I really do.
Yep. Real issues with this light.
Your electricity's going now. Oh my God.
I've got one cheap light, and then I've got the Elgato, the nice one. And I have so many issues
which one's going?
Yeah, I have so many issues with the cheap one. It's like almost
Funny
like you get
that.
what you pay for. I know.
Yeah. I know. Pay peanuts.
Keep the super chats coming in. Nigel might be able to afford two.
You need to sell some of those watches you've got.
I've sold yours already. You sent me two.
Oh yeah, he probably did as well. It's fine.
Captain conversation.
Is there one?
I think it's very much. It's Haaland if you've got him. It's Salah if you don't. Right. That's what I think.
I think it's as simple as that. There are contenders, and Mbeumo, very good fixture, and arguably you could captain Watkins.
I don't hate the Darwin shout. I don't hate it.
No, the numbers are good, aren't they?
Yeah, I know Salah's got the pens, but the form Darwin's in, he's going to cause that Luton backline so many issues.
And did he start tonight, or did he come on? No,
he came on.
Yeah, so he's likely. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I think if you were like, say you were like 2.3 million in the world and really disappointed with your season, I'd be tempted to give it a punt.
God, I'd just give up.
Just imagine. No. Don't forget, I was 5.6 million at this point last season.
Hey, I'm on 5 green arrows in a row.
Are you?
Yeah,
wow,
I'm still 2.3 million. That's great. Yeah, there's not really anyone else. I mean, Son obviously is one of the players in form, but has Chelsea. Watkins isn't a bad option, but I think between Salah and City, Liverpool and City, they're the main fixtures target.
Yeah. We've got the matrix, I think I put in there just to see where Haaland comes back into the equation, and it is that game week 16 game against Luton away. You want him for that game, and so that's what the non-Haalanders will be working towards. It'll be a swap then, I presume, unless they're going to make several transfers. It'll be Salah out for Haaland. But if you look at, Salah might only have 2 or 3 more games before AFCON at that point. So it's a sacrifice that perhaps you can afford to make. For me, it's 2 gambles. So if you get away with not having Haaland during this run, you're then gambling that not having Salah for the 2 or 3 games before AFCON also doesn't hurt you. Which is fair enough. The fixtures suggest that you can do that. So as I said, I'm quite I admire the people who have done it and who are doing it, because it does take bottle to make those decisions, and I think it's probably going to end up even Steven, and no one's going to.
Yeah, that's what normally happens. Yeah. I mean, game week 13 is interesting because there isn't a clear favourite. I don't think Son has Villa, Saka has Brentford, Haaland has Liverpool. Obviously, Salah then plays Man City. Bowen's got Burnley, but we need to see a bit more from Bowen, I think, to considering him. We've got Mitoma on there against Forest, but again, that's quite a risky one. That feels like the week where a bit of a punt might be fun.
Yeah, I think I would go Son. Saka playing the Norwegian version of Brentford there with the 2 Fs. But yeah,
Villa play a high line, don't they, under Emery? That's how Newcastle found out game week 1.
And away from home, I think they're less secure, and Spurs are just impressing me with their ability to win matches. They're not playing spectacularly. They're just being a very functional winning machine under Ange, which is obviously delighting their support. And every game they go into, I think they're going to win this game. I don't know where it's going to take them. I don't know if they are title contenders. I mean, it's starting to be a discussion, isn't it? But yeah, game week 13, I think Son is probably the route I'll go down.
I've still got the triple. I've still got Adogi, Madison, and Son. It's going to have to be Madison that leaves if I want to get Saka.
Is it?
But you know how much I love Madison. It's a really hard parting for me to get rid of him because
it's an official man crush for you.
It is. I've always loved him. I just think he's such a good player. It's so good that he's at a club now where he's just really able to show off his ability, I think, and the fans love him. And yeah, just love him. James Madison, my boy. My team. So I've made my transfer already. I honestly had a sleepless night on Sunday where I couldn't decide who to sell because Simicast was going up, and in the end, I just physically couldn't do it. I just couldn't decide, so I just didn't do it. and went to bed.
Do you credit some sleepless nights to FPL?
Many.
Do you?
Yeah, it's pathetic.
Yeah.
I know it's pathetic.
I know.
But it happened. And this
I know it's pathetic, but I'm going to agree. So do I.
This was a real one because I couldn't decide who to sell out of Udogie and Gabriel because if I sell a Udogie, he's going to be back, and I think the Chelsea fixture's better than the Newcastle away one. If I sell Gabriel, he's going to regain his place and he's going to look really good for Burnley. And I just was flip flopping around, and then luckily Simicast didn't go up that night, and then the second night. It was just clear as day to me just to get rid of Botman. I was like, I'll keep them both. Udogie's fine. He's going to play Chelsea. Got Gabriel on the bench. If he doesn't, I get rid of my weakest player. So Botman went for Simicast. So I've got Areola, Udogie, Cash and Simicast. I'm quite happy with that back line this week. Salah, Son, Madison, Diaby, Adingra, Haaland captain and Watkins up top.
It's strong.
I'm happy with this team.
Nice thing. Yeah, I mean, you've been most weeks been happy with it. If a doggy comes back, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, you don't need to worry about your bench, and they're all playing. So, I mean, Archer got dropped to the bench, didn't he? And Cabore's bench. So
they were one up top, weren't they? So I don't think.
Yeah. So you're fine. So they're in the 11 though. There's no concerns at all there.
No.
And this is the case for so many teams. I mean, I watched Joe and General didn't have a good game week, but I looked at his team and thought, well, there's nothing wrong with that team.
I know.
It's just it didn't come in, and so it's a tough season in that respect. In that. Not many of us are looking at our teams going, "Oh, it's trash. I need to get rid of these four players."
That's exactly it.
It's never been that, has it?
I mean, I really didn't want to lose Alvarez. I did Alvarez to Watkins, but I was thinking this could really hurt because Alvarez has got Bournemouth this week, for example. So they both blanked last week, and now it's Watkins versus Norwich versus Forest and Alvarez versus Bournemouth. You'd favour Alvarez to get more points probably in that game. There's not much in it. So yeah, you're trading good players for ones potentially with better players, and that's like the Madison to Saka move for me. It's reluctant
risky,
sell, but yeah.
By the way, when I have a sleepless night due to FBL, I don't tell Pip that. I say it must have been the coffee or thinking about work, and I don't wake up in the morning and go, I didn't sleep well. I just don't know whether to get Jamal a sells or not. That's the problem. I don't do that.
I was in bed with my partner, and she could tell that I was like lying awake. And you know that meme when it's like, I bet he's thinking about other girls.
Yeah.
Apparently, I was restless. I was looking, and then I just turned to her and just went, "I'm going to sell Botman."
Was that like 4 in the morning?
Yeah, she was like, "Oh, thank God for that. He's finally made a decision."
Well, at least she understands.
She does.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? A silly game with men in a make-believe team. So I wouldn't get any sympathy.
I'm definitely lucky in that regard. Your team, do you want to go for it? Quite similar to mine.
Yeah, Areola in goal, which I'll have to settle for that because I've got no options really. Simicast, Cash, Trippier, Saka, Palmer, Diaby, Salah, Son, Haaland and Watkins on the bench. Taylor and Gabriel. I mean, my subs are all right this week. I mean, Taylor is close to getting in the 11. If I had Burn instead of Trippier, I would probably play Taylor, but because Trippier's got that attacking potential, you got to play him, I think. But I've seen Newcastle defenders, benched in favour of Taylor this week, which I can see the merit in that. I could play Taylor instead of Palmer, but I just think Palmer will be involved in everything that's good about Chelsea again, and they might nick a goal. So, and he's on pens, isn't he? So you've got to play a pen taker. He's great, by the way. I mean, Chelsea were disappointing, but he had a fantastic game, and he was playing the 10 role for the first time. Yeah. And for me, you just keep him in the 10 role when Nkunku comes back. So I think he's definitely a keep for me. I've got to get through the bad fixtures and hold on to him.
Of all the signings they've made, he's the best one. He came quite late, didn't it? One of the last ones they made. I mean, your team has 3 major differences to mine, which is Trippier over Udogie, Palmer over Adingra, and Saka over Madison.
Not
and
much
it's like,
in it, is there?
Well, I prefer your 3, and I'm 70 points behind. So, it's
yeah, I know, but it's they're not massive differences in goals in those players. I mean, Trippier over Udogie is fairly big in terms of output, but Udogie could easily have a great run when he's fit again, and Trippier could slump. So, yeah, I do look at our teams and think I don't know how you're going to catch me at the moment, but it's a long season.
Yeah,
a long season.
I mean, if I'd got, I know if some buts, but the captaincy over the last few weeks could have been big. If I'd gone for Salah over Haaland and Haaland over Salah, that's potentially 30-40 points make up. So the captaincy is really, really vital at the moment. I keep saying it. It's the hardest thing to get right. but that's where your gains are. If you can kick on with that, then you can really turn your season around.
It's true, because when I, second half of last season when I made the recovery, I started to captain Rashford, and that is when the revival started. Yeah.
Cool.
Yellen are saying you're thinking about transfers all the time. Of course,
she is as well. To be fair,
you wander off in restaurants as well. Like, does she look at you and she's talking at you and she goes, "You weren't listening to that, were you?" And you're thinking about it.
What do you mean, darling?
It could happen the other way, though. Of course.
She's priced out of. She was going to bring in Darwin and SuperChats this week, and she missed the Darwin rise, I think, and now she's 0.1 off.
Oh, I'd be furious.
Oh, I know. Mark Sullins, he would be saying,
I'd be
"Do
absolutely furious."
Yep.
Yeah, sorry about that. I did go in strong with that argument last week. I felt bad about that. I felt like I was being a bit preachy, but it just gets to me.
The argument wasn't bad. It was you trying to sell me bloody Souček. That was the problem.
Yeah, how did that turn out? He got benched straight away.
I'm so glad.
He dodged a bullet there.
I'm so glad.
I did think when I saw him benched, I was like, ooh. Good job, Az didn't listen to me there, mate. This is it. I get a lot wrong. This is why I've been fortunate that the things I've got right, because plenty of times, even this season, even though the rank's good, I've made some very close to making disastrous decisions. So it's going to come. When I say about, I don't know how you're going to catch me, probably it's going to be a string of mistakes from me. That's what it's going to be. So just stay in it, basically. I'll cock it up eventually. So don't worry. Thanks.
FPL is all just about making more good decisions than bad decisions, because you will make bad decisions. It feels like everything I'm doing is a combination of bad decisions and a bit of bad luck. But yeah, it's like the Gabriel over Simicast. I spent ages thinking about that, and when you get punished by kind of 13 points and then Gabriel doesn't play and Simicast gets 2 clean sheets, it's kind of like really hard to kind of not forgive yourself, but you know what I mean. It's you kind of really do dwell on it.
Oh yeah.
What are you thinking about, honey? I wonder if ball drop 0.1. That was literally you last week, wasn't it? On the Wildcard.
It definitely was. Yeah.
BlackBox leagues. You're at the top of the Apprentice League with your 666. I've overtaken. Me and Ryan are having a real ding dong battle.
Ding dong, yeah.
Third and fourth. Another poor week for Natalie. Just 43 for her.
Don't worry about her. I hope she's all right.
I know. Oh god,
really
she's still
tough.
just as committed as ever, but really finding it hard to pick up points. And then we've got Nicholas Reginson right at the top with 740 points. Yeah, that's 80 points more than you, near enough.
Yeah.
Kevin Prendergast in second, Joe Cassidy in third, Hardik S, Josh Hinchcliffe, Varun Sanka, Thomas Anderson, Akram Simba, Marty Whitby, and Gerard McIntyre all running up the top 10. It wasn't as high scoring a week as I thought it was going to be last week. With Arsenal playing, Sheffield United with Aston Villa at home. I thought we would see scores in the hundreds, but no, kind of 90-ish was kind of a good one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there was some variance. So there's even there in that table, you got managers with around 50, and then some in the 90s. But yeah, there weren't 3-figure scores, were there? And we saw some of that the week before, and I expected to see similar, but it didn't turn out, even though the fixtures were so strong, and the big players had really good fixtures. But the returns, apart from Haaland, no one really smashed it, did they? Saka and Salah chipped away. They did okay. Son did okay, but no one came in with the 20-pointer that perhaps we imagined.
No. And then finally, the kind of Godfather tier members. I always hate showing this one because you're doing really well in it. That's why we need some more members. Come on, if you're doing well, join the Godfather tier.
I know, this is getting harder to show every week for you, isn't it, basically, as I creep towards the top of it. You're cheering Avery all the way now, aren't you?
No, as much as I go on about it, I'm glad you're having a good season. It was a tough year for both of us last year, I think, and we ended up just 1 point different, but it's nice when one of us on the stream is doing well. So I'm glad one of us is. But Avi Fructure is top with 695. We've got Ken Mia in second, Lawrence Shan in third, Mr. Videographer himself, Mark Southerns in fourth, Nick Baker in fifth, Conor Gray in sixth, Henning Odden, our new
crashing in
member, in seventh, joint seventh with Nathan Joblin. Yanis is in ninth, and then Chris is in 10th. So yeah, good seasons for everyone, and do get involved in the Godfather tier if you fancy it. You can.
Yeah, I'm going to do some videos for the members as well.
Yeah,
I'm going to do like little vlogs and stuff like that. I'll probably do some bits when I go to the Planet FBL event on Sunday.
Yes, Oh, do you want me to show that?
Yeah, let's have a look, because there's a couple of meets coming up. There's actually a third been added as well, and at the moment I'm going to all of them. So that's a Planet FPL meet on Sunday coming up. Which
oh my God, it
is,
works. Look at that.
There we go, yeah. So that's raising money for the Gameweek 39 charity. So I'm going to that, and I'm looking forward to seeing James and Sush. They're doing a live podcast, which will be brilliant, of course. And there's games on before that starts. And then the week after, our friends from Always Cheating, Josh and Brandon, are over from Brooklyn.
I'll be there.
And they're doing an event. Yeah, are you and Yelena going? So that'd be great. So we can get...
I don't think Yelena is, but I'm definitely coming.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, it'd be great to see Brandon and Josh again. We went over to New York. I'll say we. Sorry, you didn't come, did you? To New York? Did you? I can't.
I've just been nice to you about your rain. Don't ruin it.
I went over to New York with Ed and John, and we had a brilliant time. And so it'd be great to see Josh and Brandon on UK soil. Hopefully that the Monarch stays alive and the fixtures stay on, because when we went over there, of course, the Queen died mid-air, and we were mid-air, not the Queen, and the fixtures were cancelled. By the time we'd landed, there was no matches. So our meet-up that we had over there was somewhat hampered by the fact there was no football on. I hope when Josh and Brandon come back that Charlie makes it through the night and we're okay and we have the matches. I'm sure that'd be the case.
If anyone didn't believe in karma, just know.
What?
You mugging me
Rest
off, going to
peace,
New York. And then all the football gets cancelled.
You cursed it. Yeah. So, yeah, it'd be great. Those two events coming up. And Raptors organised an event in Nottingham, which is amazing. His home city. He's arranged it for... I think it's December the 2nd. I'll plug that a bit nearer the time. But that is actually the day before my birthday, and I'm up there for the Everton game, so I'm staying over in Nottingham. I think we got 30 people signed up for that already.
I didn't even know about that.
So so there's 3 meets coming up that I'm going to, I'll hopefully see some of you there.
You must have a lot of credit in the bank with Pip to be getting allowed to go to these.
Yeah, well, she just had the spa weekend that I bought her for her birthday. She was away. In fact, actually, she said to me, when I told her I was going to be at Raptors meet on the 2nd of December, she said, I was going to buy you a spa break and perhaps you and Az could go, because I paid for her and her friend to go. She said, perhaps you and Az could go to a spa break. I said, oh, yeah. Az would be well up for that, was it a back sack and crack or whatever?
Hang on, what spas are you going to?
Well, that's the male treatments, isn't it? We don't have like our nails done and stuff like that.
I don't think you go to a spa for a wax, do you?
You do, of course you do. What do you think they do?
Well, a massage and a hot tub and
yeah, there's that, but there's also where was this going?
Definitely not going to a bloody spa with you now.
This is what she said, not me. That's what she said. Nothing to do with me.
What a way to end
Anyway, I said that you'd be well up for that because you love your spa breaks, I'm sure. So
don't we do that with Manscaped, the lawn trimmer 2.0?
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Are you getting paid for that, or do they send you watches too? I don't know. Anyway, I've
actually just bought their beard trimmer, but
have you?
I'm not going to tell you if it's any good or not because they're not paying us anymore. So screw them.
You're such a mercenary.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not going to a spa break with Az to get waxed. I am going to Raptors meeting instead, where we want to have a good time. Yeah.
You're not getting waxes there either.
No, hopefully not, unless the evening takes a very strange turn.
Oh my God. Wow. Well, as they say on that bombshell, we'll call it there. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Great stuff in the chat tonight. Always appreciate all of your support.
The chat's better than the show, I think, these days. The members
fantastic.
do such a great job in there. Delia's in there, of course. So thank you for everybody who keeps the chat ticking over. It's always fun to see what's going on there. And I'm back on Friday. I am making it on Friday. I mean, Andy was being a drama queen, wasn't he? He said he couldn't make it. That was hilarious. It was a total misunderstanding, wasn't
Mark just doing his classic, I don't think I'm going to make the stream, lads. I'm really sorry. I'm going to a gig and I'm not going to be back in time. And then we're like, it's all right. Like, can you do this time? And he's like, yeah, it just really sucks when it's a Friday deadline. And I was like, what? It's not a Friday deadline. They're like, it's fine then.
Yeah, so there's a long thread about hand-wringing that I can't make late tackle this week, but I can. Good. So I'll be at late tackle with Andy, 9 o'clock on Friday. That'll be fun. We'll see a lot of you back in the chat for that. Join us for that, and then I'll be at the Planet FPL thing on Sunday. Hope to see some of you there.
Amazing. I'll be doing my team selection tomorrow at 9:15 in the morning, so grab a coffee and join me with that, and we'll talk about some of the disasters that I'm planning, which would be good. I won't be there on Sunday, but I will be at the Always Cheating one in a few weeks.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Which would be really nice. So yeah,
Yep.
thanks everyone, and we'll see you all very soon.
Bye for me.
Goodbye.